Don't tell me what to do. Sickens me. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be a good, by the way, about 10 minutes from now, we'll have a great sports report coming up. I haven't even heard it yet because they were starting to talk about it. Like, why don't you hold up on this? Because I don't know the ins and outs of this. So why don't we wait till Phil pops on? It's going to be a hell of a sports report coming up in about 10 minutes. Hell of a day anyway, because there are 15 work days left till Christmas. What do you think of that?
Yeah.
Woo.
Little Christmas action, ladies and gentlemen. You guys big Christmas people?
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I was a fanatic, I want to say, like when I was, like teenage, and then just with like, frankly, this is going to sound bad, but like with working a lot of the time, like I think I've had to work on Christmas and Christmas Eve the past like 4 or 5 years, or maybe even longer now. And it's just like, can't really get amped for it because on Christmas Eve, you've got a mom trying to like interrogate you about why there isn't something in the store for her kid that she decided to wait until the final day, like to get. And it's like, well, Shelly, I'm sorry. If you were here like a week ago, we got it. But so that kind of takes the fun out of it. But yeah, no, Christmas, like I feel like everybody kind of perks up and is nicer around that time of the year.
Yeah.
I hope so. Do you think that's true?
Yeah, I do. I've been in AJ's shoes a lot where I had to work, different overnights or whatever at different stations on Christmas. And at least everyone's happy. Like people will call in happy. And that's like, I'll take that.
Mm-hmm. That is good. I tell you, looking back on it, Larry Corolla, who was a radio announcer in town forever, then moved to Texas, unfortunately passed away very young. But I do remember, and I won't say where we were, it was at a radio station. It was in the Twin Cities. I will say that. But we both had to work on New Year's Eve. Mm-hmm. I do believe by the time we were singing Happy New Year or hollering Happy New Year, we were probably drunker than anybody at a party.
Yeah.
Which now is illegal. It wasn't illegal back then, but now it's illegal, I think.
I don't even know. Like, I miss the days where you go, is the guy on here drunk right now? Like, I miss those days.
Oh, yeah. There was, I think it was 2, maybe 3 years ago around this time, I was listening to a nationally, like, sports, I think it was like Fox Sports. And they had a guy that they normally called, and he did, like, betting. And he was off for the holidays. And they're like, let's call him anyway and just see what he's doing because, we're bored. They call him and you can hear him at a Christmas party in the background. And they're like, oh, sorry. Like, we didn't realize we were interrupting your day. Like, have a nice night. We'll talk to you tomorrow. He's like, oh, no, it's fine. He runs outside. He's like, I've only had 1 martini, maybe 2 martinis.
Yeah,
and
maybe.
Him drunkenly slurring his way through telling people who to bet on. It's the greatest radio I've ever heard.
Speaking of sports betting, Tom, are you a bettor at all?
No,
there's this guy. He's been getting a lot of popularity recently. He's an inmate at a prison.
Yes.
He calls out to like a buddy and it's like, all right, here's who you're playing this week. We're taking the Titans over the Cardinals. We're doing this over this team. We're doing the Packers over I've seen clips of this guy now from like Friday afternoons for the past month. He does not miss.
Yeah.
He spends all of his time in lockup looking at analytics and watching film. He is money. And I'm starting to think that, we need to get the legalization here so that I can ride the coattails of this guy because he is lights out.
Yeah, he's out there making bail.
So do they post his numbers and his picks and all that stuff on the internet at all? Has he posted them?
Well, he's been it's like his buddy's just been like they recorded it because it's what is it?
Right. It's a recorded phone call.
Yeah, it's a recorded phone call of him just like FaceTiming out on like a computer.
Okay.
But like it's public access to whoever can request it. So people have been starting to get a little better of like, hey, 4:00 on a Friday rolls around, we need to request, but then there's a waiting period on how quickly that stuff can get put out. So sometimes it's out before Sunday game, sometimes it's not. But the guy's insane. He predicted the Bears over the Vikings the other week.
Yeah,
and nobody expected that.
And I believe his name is Rashid, and he hit it first came out because he hit a 27-1 parlay.
Yeah,
to win like $10,000 so he could post bail.
It's not too bad. We got to back up a little bit here. You need to apologize to me, AJ.
Oh, why is that?
Because I did pick the Bears to beat the Vikings. If you remember, I didn't even watch the game because I knew they wouldn't win that game.
So yes,
I did.
I forgot about that.
And you stabbed me right in the back. Typical.
But did you make that
Typical.
phone call from prison?
Yeah. Did you make the bet from prison?
I wish I were in prison sometimes, to tell you the truth, except for the sex part. I wouldn't care for that. You know what I
I
mean?
don't think you're required to have sex in prison.
I don't
Yeah, but
know.
you get a lot of it.
Are they mutually exclusive bets?
That's probably true. Yeah. Get a lot of sex action sitting there in prison. That'd be just wonderful. In any case, so yes, the holiday season is upon us. It kind of really did kick in for us over the weekend because, we're only 3 weeks out now, and we talked to the grandkids last night, and it just, it's so great. And I don't know why he does it, but Andy's son, Ethan, he chooses the phone calls. They do the FaceTime, and he chooses which one of us he likes every time. And whichever one he likes, he just blows off the other one.
Yeah.
Like, Nana. He does. He like picks a favorite to talk to on FaceTime.
Gogo does that, except she always
Really?
picks my parents' dog. So she'll go, Bubba,
sure.
more Bubba. And so my mom's like, can I talk to you while the phone's on Bubba? Like, it's just like Bubba sitting there looking like he's just a black lab. He's like, what?
That's pretty cool. Did you guys put up your Christmas tree yesterday?
We put it up, I think last week. At
You did?
some
Okay.
point. Yeah.
Mine's been up for a while.
Yours
Yeah,
too, AJ?
I think a week ago is when we put it up.
Because there's a big article this morning. When do you put up your Christmas tree? Right after Thanksgiving, maybe December 1st, or are you the safety first and wait until mid-month so it doesn't dry out? Well, do you guys go with live trees? I don't think any of the three you said you do go with live trees.
Nope.
And
Too
we
much
didn't
hassle, I feel like.
Yeah, we don't either. So you don't really have to worry about your tree drying out because it's not a real tree anyway. But they look nice. They do. Matter of fact, as time goes by, those trees are better and better. They look phenomenal. Some of them, no question. But some of them, somebody's telling me there's a tree you can buy and it's like 15 feet tall or something like that. It's like $2,000
Damn.
for a Christmas tree.
Yeah, I was looking at prices of Christmas trees once on this show, and I was shooketh.
Shooketh. Goy Shanachas.
Shanakist. I shook. Yes.
You know what Goy Shanachas means? Oh, I shouldn't reveal this because I'll probably get attacked by Hamas or whatever the hell their name is. Goy Shanachas means Gentile pleasures.
Yeah.
Think about that. Think about what Gentile pleasures would be. If you, I'll give you an example. A roast beef sandwich with a glass of milk.
There you go.
There it is. That's a Goy Shanachas for you right there.
Terrible. Like, hey, let's scroll through the drive-through at Arby's.
Have I ever brought up anything to you, Kevin, that didn't sound terrible? Everything I say, you go, that sounds terrible.
Oh, I'm sorry. We're just kicking off our day with roast beef sandwiches and milk. That's like
no, we're trying to teach somebody a lesson. Maybe you could learn something.
Yeah, Tevin.
Learn to speak Yiddish.
Tevin, you know what? Eat your roast beef sandwich and your milk and be happy.
I apologize to everybody out here that's eating roast beef sandwiches and milk for lunch. Like,
there are people in countries that don't even dream of having a roast beef sandwich. You're just casting it aside.
Like, nothing wrong with a roast beef sandwich and nothing wrong with a glass of milk. But those two things together not kosher.
But that's the whole point of their comment. Gentile pleasures. Nobody should do that. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You kind of missed out on that one.
Well, when you say Gentile pleasures, that means I'm assuming that Gentiles just love eating roast beef sandwiches and milk.
That's not it. It's the fact that one person did. Never mind. I'm never going to teach
I was right.
people how to speak. No, you were not right.
People
you were way off.
So people shouldn't be doing roast
That's the whole point, is they shouldn't be doing it.
I always want Arby's. That's a problem with me. I love roast beef.
Now, I have a question for you. Would you eat that roast beef sandwich with a shake?
Hell yeah, I would.
Well,
I would actually eat it with
what's
milk,
the
except, I mean, here's the thing. I would eat it with milk with no problem, but I would poop my pants. So it's like, that's why I don't. That's the only reason I would not drink. Like a glass of milk to me, I just look at it and go, what is my future? Like, what am I doing today? Do I not want to do it?
You'll be fine. Don't worry about it then. Okay, so here's the deal. According to tradition, all three of those options right after Thanksgiving, December 1st, or, mid-month or whatever, They're all wrong. If you put your Christmas tree up yesterday, you did it right. Sunday was the first day of Advent, as in Advent calendars. It's an old religious thing. Most of us just use them as an excuse to eat chocolate now. I don't know what that means. The traditional Advent varies by year, but always starts 4 Sundays before Christmas. Per tradition, it's when you're supposed to open the first door on your calendar. But a lot of them start on the first now, so you open the last one on Christmas Eve, which would be nice as well, I would think.
Yeah.
December 3rd is also when you're supposed to put up your tree. And if you do care about traditions, take it down on January 6th when the 12 days of Christmas are over. You go ahead and you go. But I see. Do you think younger people put up their trees earlier, or is it just a lot of people at different ages just do?
I don't think younger people have trees.
Really, you don't think most of them do?
I just put up an article in Tom's News Stories that half of 18 to 20-year-olds, I think it was, live with their parents still.
Sure.
Or 18 to 29-year-olds, half live with their parents. So I don't think, like, all these 20-year-olds who escaped that are out there putting up I didn't put up trees in my 20s.
I did.
Yeah, we did. We did as well.
I mean, AJ does, so I guess I'm, like, just lazy.
You know, and I thought that's how different people's lives are, because when I was in my 20s, my mother lived with me.
Yeah.
I didn't live with her. She lived with me. So you're never going to escape it either way anyway.
I bet you people assumed it was the other way around, though. Like,
Oh,
I live
sure.
with my mom.
No, absolutely. They do. Oh, you're still riding your coattails at 28 years old? That's real nice.
Yeah, Tom, grow up.
Yeah, grow up. What the hell's the matter with you? It all works out in the end. But yeah, I love Christmas trees going around town. As a matter of fact, I just saw them decorating a building yesterday. It was just spectacular, just beautiful. That's one thing I love about this time of year is the beauty of it all. And as I introduce Phil Mackey to the little Score North, I'd like to point something out. I have decided that when I'm out in public, I'm going to be as positive as I possibly can, because every time I watch the news and the negativity and the hatred and the meanness is wearing me out. So everybody I walk to, I make eye contact, or walk by, I should say. I make eye contact. I say, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever it is. If they don't respond, I don't give a rat's ass. I just have had it with this being mean to people. It drives me nuts.
Yeah.
Right?
Bravo. I'm giving you a standing ovation here from where I sit.
Phil,
yes.
As an example, yesterday I went to get groceries. I went to the grocery store, and wheeling the cart out to the car, and I empty it in the car. And there's a woman across the aisle. She's finished with her deal. She's looking for a place just to store it out there, and rather than bring it back. And I said, ma'am, I'm going back in anyway. So if you want me to take your cart back, that'd be great. She was so overwhelmed. She almost started crying.
Right.
Because someone was nice to her. You could tell.
I was saying this. I mean, I know you don't spend your every waking second on social media like I do sometimes, which is probably something for me to work on. People also, like, in the age of the internet and social media and even like podcasting and comment sections, the things people actually, I'm going to make 2 categories for you. The things people will say on the internet and in their cars while driving. Oh, yeah. Not equal to the things they will say and do in just a face-to-face encounter, you know? People get real tough on the internet and real tough on the road in their cars. That's what I've observed.
Yeah, everybody's a tough guy behind the wheel, aren't they?
Yeah, why don't you get out of your car and tell me face-to-face? My 5'8", you know, Rumpelstiltskin ass. Why don't you tell me face-to-face? Yeah, see how tough you are.
That's exactly what I'm doing. I'm very serious about this. I'm going to be as pleasant as I possibly can in public, because at home, Kathryn and I are together, so it's very pleasant anyway. But I would say 3 people left not meeting me, but running into me yesterday in a much better mood because I wasn't an asshole to them.
Look at that. You're a giver of joy. Don't be a stealer of joy. Be a giver of joy. This December.
Being so negative about. Stop watching the news, first of all, particularly the national news, because all that stuff is garbage to make money off of you feeling terrible.
Also, speaking of feeling better and joy, I just caught the tail end of your your Christmas tree etiquette. December what? You guys said December 1st to put a tree up?
Well, I say Thanksgiving, December 1st, or until mid-month. Those are the 3 options. And then False. They said that yesterday, December 3rd, is the day you were supposed to put it up.
Yeah, that's hogwash. November 1st.
I like it.
No, but here's this is the logic. I used to be a December 1st guy too. My wife and I have sort of, and it's more credit to her, have backed that date up. There was like Thanksgiving, and then, what if we did it before Thanksgiving? Now it's like Halloween ends at midnight, and it's like we are pulling the boxes out. So you're going to spend all this time. especially people that decorate the outside. You're going to spend hours and hours on ladders, pulling out boxes, all this work to have your decorations up for like 3 weeks. Come on, let's get a couple of months out of it, for God's sakes.
Yes, I agree. Actually, to tell you the truth, I swear to God, I think the first day of fall, some people put their Christmas trees up when I was a kid. It was a very poor neighborhood, so they had to have something to be happy about, right?
Yeah, it's up. Look, so it's September 22nd. All right, everyone,
Let's get her up there.
Put a tree up.
There's no question about it. No, I think that's terrific. Now, to get to the very important Phil Mackey report, and Tevin has a little talking to you about the NBA, all kinds of stuff, as a matter of fact.
Yeah. I mean, the Timberwolves are the best team in the NBA right now.
But didn't make the cut.
Well, for the in-season play. It's smart, though. Here's why it's smart.
Okay.
So I don't want to bore you to tears with this, but the NBA is an 82-game schedule. They scheduled 80 games for every team and left 2 games open, because if you get through into the actual bracket of the playoff, then those become your 81st and 82nd games.
Right.
The teams that don't get to the actual bracket, like the Wolves came up. The Wolves were 3-1 in pool play, but they lost on a tiebreaker. So they fill the extra 2 games with the 2 worst teams in the Western Conference this week, the San Antonio Spurs and the Memphis Grizzlies, without their best player. So the Wolves, while these other teams get to, we're gonna beat up on each other this week in the in-season playoff bracket, the Wolves get to beat bad teams by 20 and expand their lead in the Western Conference.
Good. You're right. That is a good thing then. Absolutely.
And I think I saw somebody reported this, John Krasinski from The Athletic. So he's been covering the Timberwolves for like 20 years. And he reported that in the 35-year history of this franchise, they've spent 10 total days at the top of the Western Conference standings in the history of the franchise until this year. And they've now spent like 15 days. So they've spent 15 days this year at the top of the conference. In the previous 34 years, they spent 10 total days at the top of the Western Conference.
Why don't you guys do me a favor? You can see me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Look at the door behind me. To my
baby Jude.
Who's a good girl?
He's beating on the door. Let me
come in, Tom.
Let me there. Look at him.
I'm gonna text Kathryn to let him in.
Oh my God, I'll get it.
Let him in.
All right, who let the dogs in?
Tom, let the dogs in. He knows you're talking about Timberwolves, and he's got his input.
He's a supporter. He's a fan.
He's a wolf.
And Phil, we're technically, the way I look at it is we're the best team in the NBA. Like I think technically we're number 2 because of tiebreakers to the Celtics, and we have the same record, but we beat up on the Celtics when they came here. So for all intents and purposes, we're the best team in the NBA, should be favorites to win the title. It's almost feels wrong to be this good in basketball.
It's super weird. It is. Yeah. It's like you're kind of looking around, what's the catch? What am I missing? When does the other shoe drop? But they're just a really good team for the first time in a long time. This is the first time in 20 years since that 03-04 team where you have felt like, okay, this team can make a deep playoff run. So, but it is hard to mentally process Timberwolves and deep playoff run in the same sentence. So we're all coping together here.
Phil, when was the year that the Lakers left for LA again? Like
59?
59. Yeah, I think it was 59. I think you're right about 50s. That.
Because it was it was before the Vikings and the Twins became franchise, like mid 50s.
Mm-hmm. It was indeed. That was Bob Short that sold them to LA, wasn't it?
Was Sid Hartman still the general manager when they were sold?
I think you're right. I think you're absolutely right about that. He was the general manager of the Minneapolis Lakers.
How about that?
Sydney. God damn it, you guys. Get over to practice.
George Mikan.
George Mikan's a pain in the ass. Unbelievable. In any case. But no, it's great. I mean, literally, it's been 60-some years because the Timberwolves really have never been good. Have they?
I mean, they legitimately, they've only won 2 playoff series in their franchise history, and those 2 series wins came in the same season. So they've only had 1 season in which they've advanced in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean that's terrible, and that was since '88, something like that.
Yeah, 89.
89,
because they played their first season in the Metrodome, and they set attendance records because it was a new franchise playing in this massive structure. So they would put would they put 50,000 people in the Metrodome for some of those games, and then they moved to Target Center. But in Target Center, I'll tell you, so I've been to probably 5 or 6 games so far this year, and I'm probably gonna go again on Wednesday night when the Spurs are in town. It's a fun atmosphere right now. It's a packed house. It's because it's it's a team that hasn't exactly been, they haven't been able to hike ticket prices like the Warriors or, you mentioned the Lakers. So relative to other NBA games, it's affordable. It's more of a blue collar crowd. It's the other night, I can't remember what was it. I think it was an Oklahoma City game last week. And fans were riding the officials. They were chanting in sync. It was, I don't know, it's just, if you haven't been to a game yet this season, listeners out there, it's maybe you haven't been in 20 years. Yeah. It's a fun vibe right now at Target Center.
So I have to ask you a question. Is Jesse the Body at the games?
Not yet. I'm waiting for, I'm trying to think of the old school crew. You had Jesse the Body. You had the lawyer, was it Bill, who used to sit courtside with that rolled up program and thump the floor all night?
That's true, yes.
Well, Kevin McHale would be sitting up there, 10 rows up in his weird little sweaters. So I don't know. My guess is he's probably not coming back to games.
Who was the, I think it was a Gopher football player who became a professional wrestler, but he was a huge Timberwolves fan. God, what the hell was his name again? Huge guy.
Are we like how about like 90s? We're thinking 90s.
Yeah,
Brock Lesnar didn't go to. Does he go to games?
Yeah, he went to several games with Jesse Ventura.
Okay, now he'll go. What's funny about Brock has like 1,000 acres of land up in Canada somewhere just to be away from people, and he'll fly in to the United States for the WWE will pay him like $500,000 to show up on a pay-per-view or something. But then every once in a while, Brock will just come in for a Gopher wrestling event on campus, and he'll just be at Stub and Herbs. Just Brock Lesnar will just be on campus, drinking a beer.
Right. Now, was he a football player, or was it only wrestling?
He was only wrestling. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's.
So you're thinking of something.
Yeah, you're right.
Wait,
Okay.
Didn't Brock Lesnar have a run with the Vikings in training camp?
Yes,
like that?
Yeah.
He did.
Yep.
2004 training camp. He had not played football since high school, and he got into some fights during some of the joint practices. And why don't you go try the octagon, guy? Maybe that's better.
Him and Roman Reigns. It's actually funny how many former Viking small stints have now become pretty notable wrestlers.
Dude, I covered Roman Reigns, who is the number one. He's the number one attraction in wrestling right now for the last 5 years.
Acknowledge him.
And like AJ said, he was a Vikings training camp lineman in 2007. That was my first year covering the Vikings beat. I covered that dude at Vikings off-season camp. Of course, you don't know in 2007 he's going to become, and Brock Lesnar too, one of the great wrestlers of all time.
No question. Never, ever made it through all of the belt loops around his waist. Never.
No.
Every time I ever saw him, he missed the belt. Most often it was the furthest back one right in the middle.
That's a tough one to reach when you're that big, though.
When you're that big, have those muscles getting in the way, that would be a bitch to reach. You're absolutely right.
You could tear a tricep just trying to put the belt on.
That's a possibility. Yeah. So what else is happening? We got some good Timberwolves news. The Wild.
So it's funny in hockey. Whenever you fire a coach, the team kind of snaps out of it for like 2 weeks. So the Wild are in there 2 weeks after firing a coach, hot streak. Well, and AJ's part of Judd's hockey show, so he'd be able to tell you more. So we'll see what happens in 2 weeks from now. But
my bad. I thought I muted. I hit the button. I didn't hit it hard enough.
Sorry. What noise was that?
I sneezed in. I panicked. I was about to sneeze. I tried to mute my mic. My bad. Love you all.
No, you blew your nose. You didn't sneeze.
Yes, I did.
No, you didn't. You went. I heard it.
It was like a sneeze cough hybrid kind of a thing.
Thank you. I was like trying to stuff. It was panic. I'm sorry. I love you. My bad.
Why do you keep showing me the boogery Kleenex that you have now? You keep holding it. You don't have a cold, do you?
I'm just getting over one. So it's like that, when everything just leaves your body and it's super fun.
It's like boogers and blood on that Kleenex.
Don't worry about it. It's just a lot of DNA. It's fine.
Exactly it. No question about it. So, all right. So the Vikings are coming back next weekend. We talked about the Wild. We talked about the Timberwolves. Well, we're only about a month and a half away of talking about your Minnesota Twins.
No. So today is a big day because today is it's the first full day of the Major League Baseball winter meetings that are being held in Nashville. So every single year, it's like the first or second week in December, everybody from Major League Baseball, the front office people, all the agents, and some of the big free agents, they gather for like a week of meetings, basically. And that's where you see a bunch of trades, off-season moves. So you'll see a bunch of Twins news this week, potentially. They might make a trade. They might sign a free agent pitcher, but they're also trying to cut salary. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But keep your eye out for Twins transaction news this week, because usually this is it's an action week in Major League Baseball. And Corey Provis is the new TV play-by-play guy.
Yeah, I saw that.
That news came out last week.
I did see that.
Love Corey Provis, awesome guy, taking over the mantle from Dick Bramer after 30 years.
Yeah, 37 years or something like that. I think Dick told me last time I talked to him. And by the way, Dick's a great guy too. Really, really nice guy. Wrote a book and everything. Oh, look into him not agreeing with me. There's a telltale sign. Yes.
Sorry. I like Dick. Now you're gonna clip this for social media. I'm gonna call him Richard for the sake of this discussion. Okay.
It was the pause, bro.
Okay.
I don't know why you paused.
I don't know.
Yeah, it was the worst pause.
I don't know how to say this. I mean, Dick Bramer blocked me on Twitter in 2017. I'll say it.
Oh, I could tell by the look on your face as soon as I brought up his name.
It's hard for me to talk. Like, how do I like everyone's lauding him, and I don't know. I don't dislike him, but we clearly aren't like close friends. So, what am I supposed? You're gonna laud him and praise him because that's your position. And if I were to say, oh, you know what, I agree, Tom. I don't know. The guy blocked me on Twitter, and now I probably deserved it.
No, that's fine. See, I got no problem with that. People are kind of weird. What do you mean you don't like him? It's like, I don't happen to like him just because you do. I don't have to. I don't happen to.
And
it's not a big deal.
And I wouldn't say it's not that I don't like him.
Right.
It's that we've never really been close. We've never really been friends. We've been friendly until 2017.
But who's keeping track?
Yeah.
Okay, what
Here's
was
what
the
happened.
tweet?
Here's what
What
happened.
was the tweet, Phil? You know.
So it was early September or late August of the 2017 season, and the Twins were playing at Yankee Stadium, and I simply tweeted. So throughout the whole broadcast, Bramer and I can't remember it might have been Morneau, whoever was in the booth, Smalley, and they were just spending a lot of time presumptively talking about how in a few weeks we're likely to see this rematch in the postseason when these two teams play each other. And I was like, we got like a month left in the season. And I just said, I feel like the broadcast booth is being a little presumptuous when it comes to the Twins making the playoffs. They have a lot of work to do, right?
Right.
And during one of the commercial breaks, Dick jumped into my direct messages and lit me up with some choice words and basically said, keep my name out of your mouth on Twitter. And
oh my God,
that's kind of a wrap. So, but I ran into him in the press box the next year, like the start of the 2018 season. I just like, we were getting a beverage next to each other in the press box. I said, Dick, how you doing? Phil, good to see you. So I guess you can block people online, but you can't block them in person.
True.
Unless you get a restraining order, but I don't think it rose to quite that level.
Our no contact order is probably helpful in your situation.
There you go. All right,
so,
Pally.
A legend. He's a legend, and I don't want to take anything away from him.
Don't try to clean up your mess now. It's too late. We'll talk to you Friday, pal.
All right, see you guys.
Thanks a lot. Phil Mackey, ladies and gentlemen. Score North. We'll take a break and be right back because Chris Egert will join us next. You've all helped support MyPillow and their employees in these tough economic times. Mike Lindell knows this, continues to give back to listeners with great deals on his most popular products. Right now, you can save 50% on Queen and King pillows, the original My Slippers, and the MyPillow 6-pack bath towel sets. Well, they're back in stock. The proprietary technology makes them extremely absorbent, yet still provides that soft feel you look for in a towel. The set comes with 2 bath towels, 2 hand towels, and 2 washcloths. Regular price is $79.98. And for a limited time, you can get this 6-pack towel set for only $39.99 with promo code TOM. That's a 50% savings. So go to MyPillow.com, use promo code TOM to save 50% on the MyPillow 6-pack towel sets. That is just $39.99 for a set. This deal will not last long. Enter promo code TOM for this special and many more.
Hello, I'm Brad Huckle, President and Chief Lending Officer at North American Banking Company.
And I'm Michael Bilski, CEO at North American Banking Company.
As a locally owned and operated community bank, we work with many multi-generational businesses.
Take Personal Care Dentistry of Roseville, for example. Dr. Walter Hunt, also known as Painless to me, has been a longtime customer of the bank since we opened the bank in 1998.
When his son Kyle was ready to join the practice, they wanted to expand quickly.
With their additional space and equipment, they now are able to see more patients each day while providing the same level of care and service.
Okay, guys, I'll take it from here. If you run a family business or any kind of business for that matter, you should be banking with Brad and Mike over at North American Banking Company. Every time I deal with them or their team, I know I'm working with experienced professional bankers. So why not bank with my banker? North American Banking Company, a better banking experience, member FDIC, equal housing lender. Ladies and gentlemen, you need to know a guy for your auto repairs, legal issues, banking, and more. The same goes for investment advice. You need a guy to help you be successful, someone you can trust who gets results. Well, I got a guy for you, Josh Arnold. Josh gives you straight talk, not sugar-coated advice about your financial situation. Josh has seen it all when it comes to economic and market conditions, and Josh can make sure that your retirement objectives match your investments. Do yourself a favor and call Josh now for a no-obligation 48-minute evaluation. You've got nothing to lose, and you'll get a different point of view for your investments. Call Josh at 952-925-5608. That's 952-925-5608. You'll be glad that you did. Investment services offered by Josh Arnold, investment consultant, LLC, a security investment advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions are Josh Arnold's and do not constitute investment advice. I'm Tom Barnard, and I'm a paid endorser. Very good, ladies and gentlemen. Please welcome Channel 5's Chris Egert, brought to you by Mr. Money Talk, Josh Arnold. Call Josh today for your free 48-minute evaluation, 952-925-5608. Mr. Egert, how you doing?
Good morning. How are you?
Marvelous. Things are good.
Good.
So the latest in your life is you have an anniversary today.
Yeah, it's a big one.
What? We're here to support you, celebrate your holidays, your personal holidays.
My wife always points it out. I normally don't remember, but
You don't? Okay.
6 years ago today, I got the old left foot hacked off.
Well, just the foot, not the leg?
Yeah, well, partial, halfway up the leg, I suppose.
Halfway up the leg. But then do they take it all the way up to the knee then? Or do you go halfway up the leg so they can slip the other one on there?
Halfway up the leg so they can, yep. And it's called the ampuversary for those of us who live in this universe.
I like that.
What happened that led to your amputation or ampuversary?
I was a really crappy basketball player, Tevin.
What?
Whoa. Okay. That is not, wait, what? Basketball?
Yeah. Yeah. I got injured as a youth and then as a high schooler and then a college, and so many times that my foot was shot, and then started doing surgeries after I got out of college. And well, I think I had my first surgery maybe when I was in college. And then let's see, 19 surgeries later, that was it.
Damn.
Wow.
19.
Yeah. So a lot of those were towards the end where they were trying to save it because it got infected. But
Oh, yeah. I suppose that will happen.
yeah, it's weird. I was going to put a deal on that. I posted it was my ampuversary. And then one of my coworkers, because my coworkers are great, made some sort of joke about foot fetishes or, hey, you can make a lot of money with those feet pictures or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, and I'd offer a 50% out discount on mine.
See?
I was gonna say you're just throwing pics up on the internet for free. Come on, man.
I'd like to find a way to monetize that, but I don't know.
Just like do like mirror image, so it's like the same foot twice. You're just like, sure, I got two. Why not?
Photoshopped over.
So I have a question for you. This is a coincidence, because I didn't know it was your ampuversary today.
Yeah.
I went for a walk this morning. I usually walk about 1.5 miles, 2 miles every morning before the show. Love to get out and get a little exercise. But I'm walking along, and there's brand new. There's one shoe in the middle of the walkway.
Oh, crap. You should grab it for me.
Right.
I should have
Don't
grabbed
you want to
it.
know if it's a left or right first? I feel like that's
Oh, yeah, I guess that is important.
But why would someone lose
so
one
weird.
shoe?
Maybe it fell out of the car or something, or I don't
It
know.
was right in the middle of the sidewalk, so I don't know how to. It took some. Well, I suppose they would bounce quite a ways if you're going fast enough.
That's weird.
It was very weird. And the guy's walking toward me as I'm walking toward him, and we both look down and go, "What the hell is that all about?" One tennis shoe.
Maybe
It was
it's
brand new.
Maybe it's a sign from the universe.
Yes, I'm sure that's what it is. There's no question. Tom, get your head out of your ass or your foot on the right.
That's weird. That is super weird, Tom.
I know.
What a random thing to come across on your walk.
And it was not some beat up old tennis shoe. It looked like it was brand new. So I don't know what the hell.
Some poor bastards driving around here with no other shoe.
Exactly. That's exactly right. So what's happening in the news? Any big news stories we should know about?
God, there were like dozens of shootings over the weekend in Minneapolis. It was like, holy crap. Like I got up this morning and I looked at our app and it was like shooting.
Yeah.
Including a couple people who were killed in the Dinkytown area. That was on Saturday night. And then there was another shooting last night on Lake Street. We heard from Derek Chauvin's attorney this morning. They're obviously not satisfied with the kind of protection he's getting in prison. What
do you mean? He was only stabbed 22 times. What do you mean?
Yeah. God
22 times. He didn't die. That's amazing.
I mean, I don't know. We all kind of like default to like the prison movies or prison shows when you think about what probably happened. But I have not heard a lot of like any real great detail about what it was or what the weapon was or anything. So
wasn't the guy from like Slovakia or something?
John Tursak was his name.
Tursak.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So he's got. Oh, go ahead, Tevin.
Oh no, I was surprised that Derek was close enough to the general population.
Yeah,
stabbed. You would think that he would be in isolation.
That's what I thought too, and I think this was I don't want to. It was a lesser level prison. I think from. I'm not gonna. It wasn't like what's the word? It's escaping.
Like a maximum security.
Yeah, I don't know that it was a maximum security facility. I don't know. That's the first thing I wondered right away. Like, how was anyone even close enough to him? Which is crazy. But
on visitor day, things get a little weird in prisons because I've known a number of people that have gone to prison, so I go to visit them throughout my. Nobody is right now. There's nobody I know in prison. Well, unless they're in for life. But I would go visit my friends in prison, and I tell you what, on those visitor days, people get very, very close to one another. They really do. And I've often wondered about that. They do a great job, by the way, out at Stillwater Prison. The people out there, the men and women that run that joint out there, they do a hell of a job. No question about it.
Tom, is the whole like visit thing legitimate? Like, at some facilities where there are opportunities to enjoy a loved one's company from time to time. Yeah. Is that really something that gets done?
Yeah, unless of course you have to talk through a wall on a phone. That's a different deal. That's like murderers and people like that. And I don't think they let them out in Gen Pop all that often, but I don't know what the hell the deal. But it's quite a one of my favorite things. Because the woman who ran it at the time, I won't say her name because I don't know if she wants me to or not, but she was a huge, actually all the guards at Stillwater are huge listeners. They love the show.
Nice.
Well, that's nice to hear, and she was terrific, but I would be talking to her and she was probably about 5'2", 5'3", something like that. In great shape, don't get me wrong, but I'd be talking to her and she'd look to her side and look at the guy and go, "Put your pocket back in." And I go, "What?" And so I look over in the guy's pockets, hanging on, he put the pocket back. And she'd do that kind of stuff. And I didn't know this, but you're signaling if it's your left pocket, it's one thing. If it's your right pocket, it's another. And if it's both pockets, it's a completely different thing.
Well, it's like that's like the expression, like, hold my pocket.
Yes, hold my pocket. That's exactly.
Like if you're walking around, Chris, and you're holding another man's pocket, that means you are like the property.
You're their bitch.
Yeah.
And wow. I don't ever want to go to prison.
I would die so quickly.
I do not want to go to prison. But prison guards, if we got a lot of listeners, I think I've talked about this before. One of my best friends is a warden down in the Nebraska penal system. It's freaking hard work, man. It is very, very hard work for those prison guards. I know that. And there's all kinds of crap that goes on that he tells me about. And I'm kind of like, whoa.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's something.
No question about it. And if you're a new visitor, they're going to run you through the mill. I mean, as you walk by, they'll push their chair back to block your way, and they'll do all that kind of stuff. It's like, okay. And all you do is look at them and go, you know what? I'm leaving at 2:00. You'll be here for another 10 years. Calm down.
Oh God, I don't. Oh Jesus,
You don't like that?
AJ's got me thinking about like being a bee at the prison, and I just that doesn't.
Yeah, I understand. Believe me, I do. It's a different world. Let me put it that way. It is like you've entered a different universe when you go into a prison. No question. John Hines has a great story about going into a prison because they were going to do a morning. He and Berglund, Hines and Berglund, were going to do a morning show from a prison cell.
Yeah.
To celebrate some holiday. I don't remember what it even was. And so they went out there to try to pick the right cell to do the show from. As they're in the cell, a guy walks by and he whispers to Hines, if you do this, we're going to firebomb the cell and you're all going to die. So they never did do it.
Well, that's what I mean. Like you go in there, you don't know. You assume you're going to leave. What if there's a freaking riot or something? You don't know.
Yeah, he had no interest in doing that show after the guy threatened to kill him with a firebomb.
And that guy probably like went back and they laughed about that for freaking months.
We laughed.
No, they did. He was like, dude, and then I told them we were going to firebomb the cell. They're all like,
Just a knee slapper.
yeah.
Well, I suppose if you're in prison and they're coming in to joke around and fool around in a prison cell, you probably would go, I don't want to see that. I feel miserable.
Is this funny to you? Right.
I think there's a difference between like that and like Jeff Ross, the famous roaster comedian guy.
Yep.
He went and did like a roast of prisoners where it's some of the stuff he says. I'm like, you are lucky that there, were guards and stuff probably around. But overall, you could tell that they were like getting into it and kind of letting their guard down of like, he's going to say stuff about us. I don't feel the need to like retaliate back and and threaten him with anything. So.
Yeah, you don't want to kill your only source of entertainment.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
A good plan.
At least not until the show's over. And then
I always liked Jeff Ross. I'm glad you brought him up. It put me in a good mood. I always liked him. He's a great guy. And I told you the time he appeared with us in Vegas, he was wearing his bathrobe because it was so early. Because the show, here started at 5:30, so out there it had to start at 3:30 in the morning or whatever the hell it was. But he came down in his bathroom and did the show. And when he was done, he got up to leave and his headphones were still on, got wrapped in the cord, opened his bathrobe, and not a lot else that he was wearing. Let me put it
wow.
It's like, okay, well, what are you going to do?
I guess you got to know more about him than most people do. Tom.
Well, luckily, I was looking out at the audience and only glanced very, very briefly as he was getting up anyway to say goodbye. But, it all worked out. But he is a very good guy. You ever met him?
No.
Jeff Ross?
Nope.
Really good guy. Yeah, really, really good guy. So what the hell? All right. Anything else of importance?
Don't try to not pay your fare on Metro Transit because if you're on the light rail, now they're going to come after you.
Oh, it only took 20 years.
Sounds like an empty threat, Chris.
And one of our producers, this got brought up this morning. One of our producers was like, she was like, I went to school. I think she said she went to school in, Dinkytown. And she was like, I went to school there. I never paid to get on that thing. She goes, I was risking my life every time I got on there because there was going to be some bomb, some kind of situation. The person sitting next to her, she's like, hell no, I wasn't paying for that.
How about we worry about the fact that you might get shanked while waiting for the light rail before we worry about the $3 ticket that
That's what I mean. Like, it seems like a very, very minute detail of what the big picture problems are with the light rail. But
I know that when Andy lived downtown many, many years ago, he lived right downtown and he took the light rail about 3 times and he finally said, I just can't do this. He said, everybody on the train is nuts. First of all, everybody's drinking. They all bring their booze on the train with them. And they're just rude as hell. And they're all, he said it was very uncomfortable.
Okay. So I took transit all the time. Like especially when I lived in Bryn Mawr. And one thing that's nice is there is its own law, but like people stand up for people. Like,
good.
Like,
good.
I've been harassed, and this one lady who had a bunch of bags was like, "You leave her alone," and I was like, "I'm with her. I'm with her now." So like, if you ride the bus enough, like you will take care of itself. Like we are, I don't know. It's an ecosystem. You got to just go with it.
Well, Brittany, were you able to take the train in today?
Shut up. I'm gonna be nice to you because
That's a good question.
it's your ampiversary, but I'm gonna hold back till tomorrow.
You're gonna give it to me tomorrow.
Chris's leg will grow back by the time that light rail is finished.
Shut the.
It could, but well, that's probably true. What's it been now? It's been like 10 years, hasn't it?
I don't want to talk about it.
The light rail, or
that one section in Hopkins.
Not 10, but it's maybe 7, 8.
I drive by almost every day, and I think about you guys. One day I was like, I should take a picture. There's murals on it that are like etched in. It's so beautiful.
It's gonna make a great walking trail someday.
That's it. I'm done.
Another 10 more years, we're good to go.
It'll be the track for the Minneapolis Marathon.
Yeah, there you go. We can run it out there.
Have a good day, you guys.
Bye, Chris.
Thanks, Chris.
Bye.
Chris Egert, Channel 5's Chris Egert is brought to you by Mr. Money Talk Josh Arnold. Call Josh today for your free 48-minute evaluation, 952-925-5608. Chris Egert, always love having him on. We'll take a break, be right back in a couple of minutes. Sandy coming up next. K&L Surplus and Ammo is your one-stop shop for all firearms-related products and is the preferred choice among trap enthusiasts, waterfowl hunters for over 25 years. K&L is an authorized SKB shotgun dealer with a huge selection of youth models, has a huge selection of trap loads. Fall hunting is here, so head to K&L Surplus and stock up on waterfowl loads. K&L now has a lot of the calibers that have been hard to find in stock. K&L Surplus and Ammo is a veteran-owned, offers first responder and veteran discounts. Check this out. Mention this show and receive a 10% off anything on the store, in the store. I don't know why they put an in there, but it says receive 10% off anything in the store, anything in the store. K&L is also committed to safety and a licensed FFL retailer. Find out for yourself why K&L Surplus and Ammo has been the choice of gun owners for over 25 years. All you have to do is go to www.klgunstore.com. Tom here, and I want to discuss a partnership that has been wonderful in my life, Zero Res Carpet Care. Very good friends of mine. Nothing is better to someone with a family than having a completely clean home. Your carpet is the biggest filter in your house. If you want to talk about pet dander or foot traffic, dirt from the outside, they all eventually reside in your carpet. So, Zero Res Carpet Care. Listen, around the holidays, you need to contact ZeroResMinnesota.com or call 952-ZEROREZ. That's 952-ZERO-RES. They clean your home with their electrolyzed pH-elevated water that doesn't use chemicals or soaps that smell like a janitor's closet like other cleaning services. How about a Tom Barnard deal? Well, here it is. Get 3 rooms, 0 resified, starting at $129, and don't forget your air ducts. Mention me, and they'll discount your air vents by $75 too. This is for the entire month, so call them right now, 952-0-RES, backward or forward, it spells the same, or book online, ZeroResMinnesota.com. If it's available, ask for them to come to your place in the Tom Barnard named service truck. What an honor that was, by the way. Just mention me by name and get the special deal to get your home clean and your heart happy. Zero Res Carpet.
Is that text you're sending so important that you missed your turn? Is that text you're sending so important that you ran the red light? Is that text you're sending so important you didn't see the ball coming onto the road or the child that followed? Hi, I'm Mike Bryant from Bradshaw & Bryant. When you take your eyes off the road for even 4 seconds, your vehicle travels 100 yards. That's the entire length of a football field. If you absolutely have to text, you need to pull off the road somewhere safe and do it from there. Texting and driving is against the law and can cause serious injury or even death to you and others. Now that is important. We hope you're never injured in a collision, but if you are, please contact us.
Find Bradshaw & Bryant, personal injury attorneys at minnesotapersonalinjury.com.
Going farther with Mike Bryant on your side, seeking justice for the injured. Bradshaw & Bryant.
We're back, ladies and gentlemen. I have a question for you guys. Do you guys ever use self-checkout?
Almost exclusively.
Yeah.
You do? Okay. Mm-hmm. You do as well, AJ? Brittany?
Yeah. I'm not like getting enough, I feel like, at times to where I need to go to the big lines because I'm waiting.
Right.
It seems like 15 minutes just for that. So if I have 5 things, self-checkout every time, bag it, go.
I'll bring 30 things to self-checkout. I don't
That
care.
is insane. I would never do that. I would rather have them do it. I think it's about 25% of the time I'll do self-checkout. It's literally if I have like what I'm holding.
Okay, so to round the things off, I've never used self-checkout.
Okay.
I just never have, because I don't like when machines replace human beings, like jobs disappear because of stuff like that. And I know I grew up in a very, very, I don't know how to explain it, but a lot of workers really watched out for each other across the board. And I'm not saying you guys didn't. That's not what I'm saying at all. But it just feels really uncomfortable to me. Plus the fact I probably wouldn't know what the hell I was doing anyway. But the reason I bring it up, self-checkouts at big retailers like Walmart and Costco could soon be a thing of the past, warn retail experts and corporations. They're pinning it on crime. I think we are going to see demise of self-checkouts very soon, said Phil Lampert, a food industry analyst. Self-checkouts start cropping up in the late 80s, right around then, have become increasingly popular since the hundreds. The 2000s, I think they meant, but they put hundreds. So, whatever. Well, they put the double O's. Do you ever refer to 2000 as the double O's?
Yeah, I think it. Oh, I guess I thought everybody did.
But it'd be the triple O's then. If you're going to do the O's, it'd be 3 O's.
No, because it's the 80s. You don't call them the 80s.
But 2000 is the year.
Right.
You don't call it the 00Os.
Right, but I'm saying like the 1980s, you don't go the 980s. It's like the O's. You just take the last two numbers. It's like the 10s, the
O's.
90s.
I'm not going with it.
Makes sense.
Sorry. In any case, even food retailers have hopped on the bandwagon with the founder and former CEO of Chipotle, Steve Ells, launching his next fast food venture, Kernel, Kernel, in New York City next year, which will almost be fully run by robots. Self-checkout has always gotten mixed reviews from customers. While some prefer not having to interact with employees, others report frustration with technology mishaps and having to do the work by themselves. Isn't it a lot easier for people to steal too if they go to self-checkout?
No, yeah.
Oh,
I would think so.
Yeah, I watched a guy steal so much stuff from a Target at self-checkout.
Really?
But a lot of those places will wait until you hit a certain number so they can add a bigger offense, because otherwise it's barely a slap on the wrist kind of thing.
When are we going to change all that? Because everything now, including murder, is a slap on the wrist. When is that going to stop?
I hope murder is a couple slapsies on the wristies.
Yeah, probably 2.
Oh, good.
Probably 2 slaps on the wrist. That'd be about it. Now, crime right now is not a big deal to the United States. Voting, for me, is the big deal. Not that you commit crimes, but I'll keep you out as long as you promise to vote for me. It's all about money, yet again. Disgusting.
Yeah.
Not as disgusting as Bob Sansevier, but Sandy.
How are you?
Ladies and gentlemen, Bob Sansevier Sports is brought to you by Bradshaw and Bryant, personal injury lawyers seeking justice for the injured. Contact Bradshaw and Bryant at minnesotapersonalinjury.com. That is minnesotapersonalinjury.com. Sandy, how are you?
Well, you kind of ruined my Friday.
I did?
Yes, because you said, watch season 4 of Fargo. So I sat down and I power watched the entire season.
I love that you said power watched instead of binge like a normal.
Like you were exercising while you were doing
No, I wasn't exercising. I put myself in the recliner. I watched, 11 hours of it? Because they put commercials in. It's 11 hours.
It is. It is. Great show, though, didn't you think?
Yes. You've seen every episode of season?
No, I've only seen 2 of them so far.
Oh my God.
No,
Oh,
Tom is a normal person. He's not going to put 11 hours of TV on him.
He's not power watching anything.
Don't attack Bob, because I've been in that situation where you're like, this is so good, I just can't stop, but I know I shouldn't, so I just got to power through, and you're hoping somehow that your hour show will wrap in 20 minutes.
No, what I'm hoping is my family doesn't notice I've been on the easy chair for 11 hours. They just did everything around me.
Sandy?
Tom, it is phenomenal.
I got to ask you, Sandy, didn't you love the short Sicilian guy that's running the mob in Kansas City?
Jason Schwartzman?
Is that who that is? Really?
Yes.
I didn't even notice that.
Yes, it is.
Oh, that's weird. I never even noticed. Yeah, he's phenomenal.
Well, he and Chris Rock are probably the only 2 identifiable actors.
Yep.
You've seen some of the other ones. One of the guys, the consigliere, I thought for a minute was from The Sopranos, but he wasn't.
Oh, sure. Yep.
I don't think. And but it really is season 4 was pretty damn good. And I'm not gonna. Well, how long has it been out? It's been out a long time. This thing, is it true that the youngest son of each rival gang would swap?
Swap.
They would give the youngest son. Well, you saw the first 2 episodes.
Yeah,
they did that.
Yeah, that's right. That's true.
Did they actually do that for real? I had never heard that.
I have no idea, but the whole idea of there's an Italian organization, there's a black organization, and they meet head to head on all these. I think it's some of the best television I've ever seen, Bob, and obviously you agree because you sat there for 11 hours.
Oh, I thought it was terrific. As I'm watching, I'm saying that bastard Tom, and this is one of the best streaming shows I've ever seen.
What do you mean swap? You never, like, for all of us, what you're talking about?
No,
swap what?
Well, it started with the Jews and the Irish. They were the youngest child of the leader of the Jewish clan and the Irish clan would swap the youngest son, and they'd have to live.
Yes.
They'd have to live with the other one, and it was sort of a form of protection.
Yeah,
that they would not overstep.
I think they did that a lot back, like with kings and queens. They did that like with.
They married them off.
Not only married off, but like they would send them as, I forget that there's a term, and that would ensure that those two countries wouldn't go to war with each other because they both had their youngest.
Oh, there you go.
Yes, but as chance would happen, they go to war anyway.
Oh, who would have thought?
Spoilers.
And Chris Rock, he was phenomenal in it.
He was. Yep.
Schwartzman was too, because throughout the whole show, he's always disheveled and this, the way they had long hair. They had like the Shemp hair from the
his hair hanging down over his right eye all the time.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah,
the Shemp and Moe hair from the Three Stooges. But and the other thing that I've, if you have not started watching, you've watched Lawman Bass Reeves, you said, right? You're up to date.
Yeah, we've seen every episode.
Phenomenal too. And
it is a great show.
I'm also watching Monarch, which is it's about the monsters. And I started watching last night because it's from when I saw it was from the same creators of Cobra Kai. It's called Obliterated.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
You like it?
Yeah. Oh, it's phenomenal. I
think
powered
so too.
through it this weekend.
You watched the whole thing? You power watched?
I powered through it just like you.
Well, my mistake was I didn't start watching until after the Packers game last night, and I only watched 2.5 episodes because I said I'd better get to bed. So I'll finish it today, no question. Variety hated it. Their review. I said, "What are you nuts? This is fun and funny."
It's fun. It's funny. The I forget Tank or the black guy that's always Trunk. There we go. He's hilarious in it. You do see some male genitalia that is a little over the top, we'll say. But overall, highly recommend Obliterated. It was great.
So what's it about?
It's an elite group of CIA operatives who they have this great win after 6 months. They defuse a nuclear bomb, but wait. Is it diffused or isn't it? Because they're all on drugs and they're all drunk and, they were popping every drug you could imagine. And then they've got 8 hours to save the world again.
Yeah. They essentially, it starts out with this, over the top rescue / bomb defusal mission in Las Vegas. And then, they party because they think they just saved the world. And as they're all just high and drunk off their ass, all of a sudden, it's not over, and now they got to go about their mission some more.
And C. Thomas Howell is phenomenal in it because he basically plays the Weekend at Bernie's guy. I think through most of the show, they carry him around on their shoulder, waiting for him to come out of his drug stupor.
Yep.
So this is a live action show? It's human beings. It's not.
Oh, yeah, it's human beings. Yeah. We don't watch
sounds
cartoons.
good.
It's Tevin and me. We watch real people.
We don't watch cartoons. No.
Yes,
it's really good. I don't know if you'll like it, Tom, but I think it's worth the shot because if you do, Kathryn for sure won't like it. So maybe you have to watch it without her.
So what is it all about against two gang? What are they doing?
They're saving the world.
Yeah, it's a group of elite. Like, hey, we're the best of the CIA.
Oh, okay.
So the opening scene is them like helicoptering into a high-rise building and killing like 30 people in the matter of,
Jesus.
15 seconds.
Oh,
So it's very what's the Denzel Washington Equalizer kind of vibe.
yeah, okay.
Where, I'm going to take everybody out, but then it's also comedy based and
And
dark.
one of the side characters is a camel. Which
Yeah.
is
A camel?
Yep.
Yeah.
A
You
camel.
got to watch it, Tom.
It's a very small role for the camel.
Just on that, I'm in.
Yeah, just off that, you're going to watch it now, AJ?
Yeah. I'm fine with committing a bunch of time just for a camel.
I,
So.
I will say you have to get through the first like 20 minutes of it, because I originally started it and I thought, this is kind of.
I felt the same way. The first episode, I'm thinking, do I want to stick? But then it's kicked in.
Yep. Yeah.
Really? Well, I'm glad you told me that, because I would have bailed. Probably.
Don't.
Okay, just stay with it. And it's on where?
Netflix. So all
On
8
Netflix.
episodes are out. You don't have to, I got to wait till next week for the next one to come out.
Well, because you're talking about Bass Reeves. Kathryn and I watched all 6 of the first episodes. There's only 2 more to go. So, I know exactly
it's
what you have to
only-
wait.
Yeah,
What?
I hate it. Hate it. Monarch, same way. Well, most of them are, unless it's Netflix, because they throw them at you, say, go ahead, power watch us.
Yeah. Good. Yeah, well, you did, and it all worked out for you. Are you going to start on season 5 now?
I already have.
Oh, you?
And I was very disappointed. They've only put out like 3 episodes of season 5. I actually, I was watching like on FX. Let me check this one out. I would come in the middle of it, and I just couldn't catch on. But I starting from the beginning. This Juno Temple is phenomenal. The woman who plays, she's from Ted Lasso. For people who've watched that,
Yeah.
she's terrific. John Hamm is a great character in this.
He is good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
he
there's
is very, very good.
there are great characters in that as well. So yes, absolutely. Check that one out, season 5. According to the critics, it's the best of the 5 seasons. They'd have a long way to go to better season 4.
Yeah, I would agree with that. But I tell you what, we've talked about it quite often on this show. I don't know that TV's ever been better than it is right now. Well, it couldn't possibly have been, because you couldn't even get that much content.
No, Tom, I don't understand where the money's coming from to do all of these episodes. The number of shows, you could never catch up if you tried to. There's so much out there.
Right. No, but seriously, most of it's really, there are a couple of things Kathryn and I watched, and we get about 15 minutes in and go, this is just, after 15 minutes, you kind of know, but I shouldn't do that with the first episode of Obliterated.
No, I started to think, okay, it's sort of,
right,
losing steam, but then it got me back into it.
Oh, good.
You got to stick with it. And Tevin, you've seen the whole thing, so that I'm glad to hear you liked it all the way through.
Yeah, and it stands strong the whole way through. The ending of it. I mean, you're not watching it because of the plot of the show. You kind of know how it's going to end for the most part, but there are some twists and turns in there. But it's funny the entire way through. The guy that they weekend at Bernie's, through the entire show, he makes a revival at the end, and so it's all good. And
it is funny. That's the great thing about it. It's it's
funny too.
And it's action too. Oh yeah, that's the best part about it.
Oh, okay.
I counted twice in the first 2 episodes. I laughed out loud.
Really?
I'm not a big laugh out loud guy either.
So. What? You've always laughed out loud. What are you talking about?
Oh, I do that just to blend in.
Oh, you blend in. Okay.
Truly laugh and find something funny. I'm not an easy laugh, I'll have you know. Brittany makes me roll on the floor. ROLF.
I was going to ask you this because of Jesus. Unbelievable. Oh, Sandy.
Or ROFL, whatever it is. You were saying, sir?
No, I'm totally distracted now. I have no idea what the hell I was going to say.
RLOF?
RLOF.
Rolling lore laugh.
I was trying to do I was thinking rolling on laughing floor. No, rolling on floor laughing. I got them mixed up. Hey, I've been doing the same thing all morning with, is it the quick lube bowl or the quick lane bowl that they're in?
Oh God, Bob, thanks for mentioning that. Once again, the lamest bowl offered. What was it last year? The Pipsqueak Bowl, or what was it?
Pinstripe Bowl, is that the one?
Pinstripe. That's what it was. Pinstripe Bowl. Now it's quick lane change up, or what is it?
Yeah, and okay, you're going to the bowl, guys. You're gonna go to Detroit. It's a punishment.
Middle of
they
winter.
play-
Let's go to Detroit.
When they say you're going bowling, you didn't know you're getting Bowling Green.
Bowling Green.
Oh.
What's their record, Bob?
Who cares?
What are they, like Division III?
They're they play hockey in the CCHA. I could see that AJ's on it. What is their record, AJ? Put it this way: they are one of the Gophers are the 82nd team, so I'm guessing Bowling Green would be the 81st worst team.
They're just good enough to play the team that got really good grades this year.
Yes.
Oh, well, that's good.
They finished 7-5, so better than the Gophers.
Oh, better than the Gophers by far. But they didn't play anybody either, did they?
Western Michigan, PJ Fleck's old squad. They beat them. Otherwise, no. I had Ball State. And they ball hard. So
Okay, they're like a NAIA or D3 team is what they are.
Oh, they played Liberty.
Oh,
and they lost 34-24 to Liberty, who
is undefeated.
And they lost to Michigan 31-6. So
why isn't Liberty in the college football playoff? They were undefeated. That's a whole nother world there.
My favorite college name of all time, and I'll never forget it because the coach who was recruiting talked about this on one of the sports shows. I don't remember. It was many, many years ago. But they said, going out recruiting and all the rest of it, did you have some really spectacular moments, some moments that weren't so great? He goes, well, there's one that stands out because, Iona. What state is Iona in again?
New York.
It's in New York. I thought so. But I wanted to make sure. So he said, I'm the head coach at Iona, and I go over there and I'm recruiting. And the kid comes out of his house with his mother and father, and they go, where are you from? And he said, Iona College. And the guy said, God, you must be rich. Iona College. Are we pouting again over there? Anyway, so what else, Danny?
Now, that was a real laugh, by the way. I want to make that distinction.
No, it's a great story because it actually happened. Iona College, and they literally thought he owned the college. But other than that, but they're people know Iona now, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, it's always been a good basketball program, but it's a lower level one.
Yeah, that's true. So does this? What is it? Bowling Green in the what bowl?
Quick Lube, Quick Lane, same thing. Bowl.
Quick Lube,
Quick Lane.
Quick Lane. Okay, and that's in Detroit.
Yes.
Why would you even accept that?
That's the best question of all. Why?
Do you make money from that?
Oh yeah, they'll get money. But you know what? What they'll do is, if they win, they'll treat it like it's a national championship. Hoisting whatever, Quick Lane, or give them what do they give them? A gallon of motor oil.
Just give them like a certificate for an oil change.
Yeah,
that's it.
What I'm excited about? There's a brand new bowl. I already think there's too many bowl games, but there's the Pop-Tart Bowl.
Oh,
yeah.
The winning team is going to get like a giant Pop-Tart that they're all going to like take a bite out of. So
I kind of love it. Yeah.
And I wonder, because I don't think, have they announced what flavor Pop-Tart? Because I think they're going to keep it a secret, and you can maybe gamble on it. Like you gamble on the, what color Gatorade gets dumped on the coach. You can gamble on what flavor.
I feel like you have to go strawberry because it's like
that's like the
most,
OG.
Yeah, and it's like iconic.
I have a question. So what sport is this?
Football.
And how big is the Pop-Tart?
It'll probably be like I would assume probably like the size of like a giant check type of situation.
It's got to be bigger than that for a whole team to eat it.
I mean, you got a bite where some other guy already bit. Ugh.
You can also break it off. Yeah.
Yeah.
They just break it off and then put it in their mouth.
I mean, they hit each other's butts, so like.
Oh my gosh.
What?
I said they like hit each other's butts and tackle each other. Like I don't think it's that big a deal if they bit on the same thing.
I thought you said they hid the Pop-Tart in their butt. They hid it in their butt.
What I thought too, Bob. So we thought the same thing. It's interesting. That's all I have to say. All right, Sandy, what else you got, Pally?
Yeah, how about your Packers? I'll tell you what. A few weeks ago, the Vikings, they'll win that game against the Packers. They're not going to win that game against the Packers. This team is coming on.
Yeah, they look really good.
Do you see them winning another game this year, Bob?
It depends on who they've thrown at quarterback.
That's true. Yeah, that's very, very true.
And if the coach will adjust to the talents of the quarterback and not force feed him his system.
Yeah.
And also our schedule is like, we don't really play. I mean, we have the Lions and the Packers on the schedule, but it's not, those teams aren't unbeatable. The Lions look really good. The Packers looked good last night, but it's not unfathomable to think that we can beat the Packers at home.
Yeah, it is. After watching last night, Packers.
And they did get, so on both sides, the Packers played well, deserved to win the game. But at the end of the game, there was a lot of missed calls both ways, where the refs kind of just let it be a free for all.
It was more against the poor or the Chiefs.
Like there was
had
a
some plays.
pretty bad pass interference that should have put the Chiefs on the 5-yard line.
Yes.
And then, I mean, there was the female ref on the left side of the field. She missed a forward progress where they called him out of bounds for the Chiefs when he should have been inbounds. And then on the Hail Mary, Travis Kelce got shoved about 5 yards forward. But probably got to throw a flag.
Have you ever seen a flag on a Hail Mary play?
No, but this defender clearly said, I know they're not going to call this, and two-hand full extension shove.
Oh, there's no question.
Are there differing rules on Hail Marys? Like,
yes.
It like they allow more contact on
absolutely.
Yeah, it's not in the rule book, but they essentially go, we're not going to, because the ref doesn't want to have to call that.
And they don't want to be the ones deciding it.
Right.
That much.
I don't know. You could argue the player decided it by pushing.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm with you. And did any of you watch the Niner game against the Philadelphia Eagles?
Yep.
This guy should never allow this guy on the sideline again. Big Dom, the security guard. A security guard's job is, if he's watching the coach, is watch the people in the stands. He's right on the edge of the sideline being a cheerleader. Get that fat F out of there.
But if the player doesn't punch the security guard in the face,
he was provoked by the security guard. Had no business being in the middle of it and trying to separate. He tried to separate him because he's a security guard. The guy's got like his own line of clothing. He's like a star before any of this happened in Philly. I don't get it.
Yeah,
he's just one of these big dumb oafs who they decided to, it's like, what was that movie that where they got a mascot that what the heck was that with I'm drawing a blank on who it was, but anyway, they got him on the sideline because he's a big dumb oaf.
Yeah.
Okay, run this by me again. Who punched who?
So there was a play that spilled out into the sidelines, and a 49ers linebacker, but it was Greenlaw. Is his name?
Dre Greenlaw.
Yeah, he kind of gets in the face of the head coach, Nick Sirianni, for the Eagles. And then the security guard for the Eagles kind of came over and put his hand in the chest plate of the 49ers player, kind of push him back, says a few words, and then the 49ers player reaches over and punches /
He didn't punch him. He flicked his nose or his lip.
Oh my gosh.
He did
so he didn't connect.
Exactly, AJ.
He didn't connect on his punch / point attempt.
He wasn't trying to.
Player. I don't think he was trying to punch him, but he definitely makes contact with a closed-ish fist in this guy's face.
He flicked him.
He literally went like this.
He just flicked him.
His nose. Like he wiped his nose. He saw a booger and wiped his nose.
Yes, he was helping him.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they both got thrown out of the game. No security guard in history has ever been thrown out of a game before.
So I have a question for you. Why would they throw a security guard out when the player's the one that stepped out of line?
Because he had no business doing what he did, which is separating players, and he was mixing it up with Greenlaw. He was jawing at him, and these security guards are not supposed to be right, a foot off the field.
Well, and I don't think he was different than, because obviously you have the stadium security where they're wearing the vests and they're standing there.
He's different than that.
Yeah, he was like specifically for.
He works for the team,
head coach. Yeah, so he's
25 years.
Yeah, he's not supposed to be on the field that much, but he's
supposed to blend in and not be noticeable.
Right.
I guess,
he's not supposed to be right there.
How bad was the fight? Should it have been broken up, or was it just not that big a deal?
No, it was a big deal.
It was your average NFL scrum.
It was a skirmish, a kerfuffle, if you will.
A kerfuffle. I like that. That works for me.
I love that word.
All right, Sandy, any closing words?
Yeah, see you on Friday.
Oh, really? Those are your closing words, are they?
Watch Obliterated. We want to hear a report by Friday that you've seen all of it. And I got a lot of catch. You do too. You got to catch up with the latest. You got to start the new Fargo.
Yeah, I do.
You got Obliterated. You're already on Lawman Bass Reeves.
I only got 2 episodes left, man. I've seen 6 of the 8, so
I like his
damn good
sidekick. What Billy? What's his last? Billy.
Billy
Babbitt. No, not Babbitt.
Yeah, what is? I know who you're talking. The Native American guy.
Yeah, he's terrific.
Hey, he's great.
He's got
really
himself
good
a
in it.
girl now too.
He does have a girlfriend. Absolutely, he does have a girlfriend.
Oh,
So no, it's a really good show. Really good
Ooh la
show.
la. All right.
All right, Sandy. Thank you, sir.
See ya.
Bob Sanson here, ladies and gentlemen, brought to you by Bradshaw and Bryant, personal injury lawyers seeking justice for the injured. Contact Bradshaw and Bryant at minnesotapersonalinjury.com. That's minnesotapersonalinjury.com. We'll take a break. Be right back in a couple of seconds. Oh my God, we're already at almost the midpoint here. Back in a couple of seconds. Mariette Hartley will join us right after this.
This is the Tom Barnard Show. Listen live on the Tom Barnard Show app or at tombernardshow.com.
You know the song Kokomo? It's supposed to be off the Florida Keys, right? Hate to break your Beach Boys bubble, but that's a fictitious place they made up for the song. Fortunately for the rest of us, the Florida Keys island chain are as real as the taxes you have to pay in Minnesota if you're a resident. Now, that's a reason to move south. In addition to Florida and all of Monroe County being beautiful, the Keys from Key Largo to Key West are even more beautiful. This is Tom Barnard, part-time Florida resident myself. And if you want a second house or a new retirement home or want to become a Floridian, may I suggest you contact Matt Carlson from One Key West Realty. Matt grew up in Litchfield. He's a super real estate agent when it comes to finding your tropical island space in the Keys. He lives there and here, and Matt knows what's best in Key West to buy. For your second home in Florida, Matt teamed up with fellow Minnesotan from Sartell and Alexandria, Kristyn Eklund, who's one of the top mortgage brokers in the country from Coast to Coast Mortgage. She'll get you the financing you need to buy a home in Florida or in Minnesota. Matt's part of the Lake Sotheby's International Realty Group here in Minnesota, and Kristyn, his mortgage colleague, lives and works in the Keys, so they both know the Florida Keys' new and existing homes for sale and are Minnesotan through and through. Contact them by heading to onekeywest.com. That's onekeywest.com.
Recently, Jim Paul of Valley Buick GMC was contacted by a company that does on-site sales. Jim was confused.
Wait, they don't know anything about us, our staff, our reputation, most importantly, our customers.
Hey, pal, no problem. We do them all over the country. You know, get the manager off the roof sale, inflatable gorilla sale, and our favorite, the 13-hour sale with a giant clock that goes to 13. Urgency, baby. We bring our crew because, well, your people are, let's just say, a little laid back.
And the pricing?
Nothing special, sport.
But Jim thought we price competitively every day. Our prices are special. We definitely don't need these guys. But sale does convey some urgency, so we made a bold decision for his fine dealerships.
Announcing the Valley Buick GMC 365-day sale. And we can even extend it a couple years or so.
I got the air dancer guy, scratch-offs, plastic keys, bubble machine.
Valley Buick GMC in Apple Valley or Hastings or valleycardealers.com. Hurry.
You need to know a guy for your auto repairs, legal issues, banking, and more. The same goes for investment advice. You need a guy to help you be successful, someone you can trust who gets results. Well, I got a guy for you, Josh Arnold. Josh gives you straight talk, not sugar-coated advice about your financial situation. Josh has seen it all when it comes to economic and market conditions, and Josh can make sure that your retirement objectives match your investments. Do yourself a favor and call Josh now for a no-obligation 48-minute evaluation. You've got nothing to lose, and you'll get a different point of view for your investments. Call Josh at 952-925-5608. That is 952-925-5608. You'll be glad that you did, and tell him his guy, Tom, sent you.
Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC, a security investment advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions are Josh Arnold's and do not constitute investment advice. Tom Barnard is a paid endorser.
I like totally unruly. That works for me. Most people probably wouldn't have a problem keeping, and they call this an abandoned bill, $20 bill they found in a parking lot. That wasn't lost, it was abandoned, which I like that take anyway. But yeah, most people probably wouldn't have a problem keeping an abandoned $20 bill they found in a parking lot. They're probably not going to put a lot of effort into finding its rightful owner. But what if it was $1,000? A poll asked thousands of people what they do if they found $1,000 on the ground. 47% said they'd keep it if no one else was around. 47% said that. Women were slightly more likely to say they'd keep it than men. They also broke it down by cities and found the most honest city was Jacksonville, Florida. I could see that. I lived in Jacksonville. It was a very nice town. 62% said they'd hand it over. The other honest cities include L.A. I don't know if I'm buying that one. L.A., really? Yeah. Tulsa, Oklahoma, and Atlanta. The most dishonest cities, assuming it's dishonest to keep it. Well, I don't know if it's dishonest to keep it, because if you found it on the ground, how the hell are you going to find the owner anyway?
Yeah, what are you going to put out, like a wanted page or?
Yeah, maybe. Well, maybe I suppose you could do that, but who the hell? But then you're going to have about 50,000 people saying it's theirs.
Yeah.
And how are you going to prove it's not? Because it's just $1,000 cash. So in any case, the most dishonest cities, assuming it's dishonest to keep it, were Detroit, Memphis, New Orleans. Any surprises so far?
Stop you.
Detroit, Memphis, and New Orleans. In all three, just 38% said they'd hand it over. The next most dishonest was, not a shock, Baltimore. You guys ever been in Baltimore?
No.
Do they need to realize someday that, hey, we've totally destroyed the city. Maybe we should start from the ground up again? Honest to God, they've destroyed that city.
I don't know. Mariette, have you ever been to Detroit? I'm sorry, Baltimore?
Yes. And worse than that, my mother was born and raised there.
Well, that's the problem, Mariette, right there. You have to be nice to Baltimore. No question about it.
Have to. No, my mother's dead now, so it doesn't matter.
Oh, I suppose that's probably, well, mine is too. So maybe they're sitting up in heaven watching us right now, Mariette. Who knows, right?
And laughing, I hope.
And hopefully laughing. That'd be good. Our almost completely true love story will be available on December 8th. That's just 4 days away on a major streaming platform. What's that?
I said, yay.
Yay, indeed. Absolutely. Streaming platforms including Amazon Instant, Apple TV, Vimeo, Google Play, Vudu, and Hoopla, as well as most cable providers across the United States and Canada. Mariette Hartley, our very special guest, listing you as film and television actress. She is best known for her work with Bill Bixby on The Incredible Hulk and Goodnight Beantown, the original Star Trek episode, All Our Yesterdays. Yeah, Mariette, been a big fan for many, many years, so things are good.
Oh, things are fabulous. My God, I can't believe it's happening. We're actually opening this week. I can't believe it.
Why do you say that? Why, well, there was some difficulty getting it done?
Well, it took time, really. Yeah. This is work, and the waiting and the trying to find a distributor and finally finding a distributor. Thanks God. And everybody wonderful, and it started out that way. We put all of our friends or most of our friends in it, and they were incredible. We had no idea that was going to happen so quickly. So to see it now flourishing is just heavenly for us.
That is wonderful. The almost completely true story is based on the courtship, relationship, and marriage of Mariette Hartley and her husband, actor, producer Jerry Soroka. So is it weird to have a movie that's about you? Well,
kind of. I've done a couple of one-woman shows and things like that, and it's not that odd, but it's exciting, to have written the whole show and to have put our friends in it and to have seen their reaction. And then once it started coming out, we're showing it to our friends to have the audience see our reactions, to see it. The whole thing has been an extremely wonderful experience.
I would imagine going through it with your husband. How long have you two been together now?
I don't know. I'll probably. We've been
Never
married,
mind.
I think, about.
We'll just go with that, Mariette. That's fine. Not a problem, but it's
15 years, 20 years.
Somewhere in there.
My husband's right here. Yeah.
The great thing about that is, though, that I'm assuming our almost completely true love story. You're talking about a love story here, which is there any? Has there ever been a study on people who are happy throughout their entire marriage? There are hills and valleys and all the rest of it, but be basically in love with their partner for their whole life. That's very rare, from what I understand, or at least a low number.
Well, well, marriage is kind of tough sometimes, but Jerry and I have had a good time together since we met. And, when people say, well, how did you live that long with, or, well, that's a whole other story, but I mean, how did you keep this going? Or how did you, and we both, because we've both been asked that question, we both seem to think that laughter is really the best medicine, or it's what keeps relationships alive. And I think that's been true for us, because we much prefer to laugh than anything else.
Yeah, no question about it. Matter of fact, Kathryn and I have been together for 43 years. We'll be married. Yeah, we'll be married 40 years in July. And last night we're sitting around watching these shows, laughing like it's the first day we ever met. Don't get me wrong, Mariette, that there are certain things that I will not tolerate from another human being other than my wife, and she knows that, and she uses them against me, because I will tolerate it if she says it or does it, but not anybody else. She loves that.
That's terrific. I think we're the same way. I really
do. Isn't it wonderful to look across the table and go, God, how, because you got to consider yourself to be a very lucky person that you're with someone that you love so deeply. And I mean, it's such a big deal that you made a movie about it. So that's a pretty damn big deal, Mariette.
Yeah. And that's not a lie, by the way. It's, I mean, we both have long lives, for heaven's sake, but the two of us somehow clicked when we first met. I mean, about, everything that we liked, the other person seemed to like. And we can now still look at one another and say, isn't that amazing? It's amazing to me.
No, it's absolutely amazing. And I wish people would look at that. What I've decided to do, Mariette, as a matter of fact, because everybody's angry and pissed off and everybody's just, oh my God, they hate everything and everyone and all. I've decided to go the other route and be overly nice to people, which really pisses some people off, which I find interesting, Mariette. They get mad because you're being nice to them.
or seem to feel good about life.
Yeah.
And it's true. It really is true. And people wonder, how do you do that? How do you, especially in this day and age when things seem really wacky. And, I find that meditation helps an awful lot. And just loving one another, loving my family. I mean, everything. It's just, and loving my friends. Bernie lives right next door to us. Bernie Capel.
Yeah, we just talked to him on Friday, as a matter of fact.
Right, and he's one of my oldest friends in the world, and he comes toward me, and I laugh.
That's a good sign.
No, he does. He walks toward me in this kind of strange way, and says something, and I laugh. And that happens also with Peter McNichol.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just heaven to have those kinds of people like that. I mean, because people don't seem to want to laugh that much these days, and we want to laugh.
No doubt about it. We'll be doing a lot more Mariette Hartley. We'll be watching our Almost Completely True Love Story. It's available on December 8th. Again, on Amazon Instant, Apple TV, Vimeo, Google Play, Vudu, and Hoopla. Mariette, thank you so much for your time this morning. Been a big fan forever. You're a very nice person.
Oh, thank you.
Well,
thank you. And you sound like you are, too.
Well, I don't know if everybody would agree with that, but thank you for saying that. I appreciate it immensely. Thank you, Mariette. Have a good day.
Great. You too.
See, I love talking to people of different, age groups, different the men, the women, all the rest of it. Yeah. But what's cool about that is that Bernie Capel apparently went over to Mariette's house and said, oh, you should go on this Tom Barnard show because it's really comfortable and they won't go after. That was nice of him.
Super nice.
Yeah, very nice.
I really am going out of my way to be much nicer to people because I am sick to death. And some people get pissed off when you're nice to them. It's hilarious. Stop being nice to me. I'm like, what?
Yeah, well, probably catches people off guard a little bit.
Probably.
So
Yeah.
used to people being negative all the time.
People love to be negative. There's no doubt about that. But I literally have never seen in my entire life the level of hatred that there is in the world. And it's not just in America. It's everywhere in the world now, which is really unfortunate. Why would you waste? What do you got? On average, you got what, about 75 years, maybe 80 years? I don't even know what the mean figure is anymore. But why would you want to waste it on being pissed off and hateful every day?
Yeah, that's a great question. That's like, you think about what your day to day looks like, and if you're like just spewing out that much hatred, it's just constantly in your head and your heart. Like, yeah.
No, I understand. Now, I want to go back to that last story you're talking about, whether you find $1,000 on the ground, there's nobody around, it's in cash. I don't know how you could give it back, because how could they prove that it's theirs anyway?
Yeah, I don't know, but I would be thinking in my mind, the person who lost it, like, could be somebody who that's how they pay rent. I don't know why, but like my mind would go to that. I guess maybe the police department could take it. I don't know, but I just know. I know it sounds stupid.
Right. I was always skeptical of that because, like, what are the odds that? Because I've never seen a report where the police have posted on Facebook like, "Hey, we found $1,000. If anybody's missing it, come on down." Like, I don't know how much due diligence they're putting in. When I was probably like 12 years old. I was at a football camp at the University of St. Thomas for the Minnesota Vikings. And in the dorm room, I opened up one of the drawers and there was an envelope that had like $1,000 in it. And there was, a room full of, other 12-year-olds. And I was like, we should probably turn this in because one of you are not going to like, whatever. It's like, if I kept this or if one of you kept this, somebody's getting told on, we're all getting in trouble. And they ended up actually tracking down the student who lived in that dorm room and like, hey, here's your money. And she bawled her eyes out because she's not a broke kid.
See, it's a wonderful story. I love stories like that. Now, I mean, obviously, if you find a wallet or a purse or something like that, you know whose it is. So I would 100% give that back. I mean, if I found cash, I probably would hang out for about 15, 20 minutes, maybe a half an hour, wait to see if they come back looking for it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I would probably do that. I found a chunk of money a couple of times and I've never kept it because one was in a purse.
Yeah.
It was like $3,000 in the purse in cash.
Dang. And
that's a lot of cash to be carrying around in your purse, lady. I don't know if I'd be doing that these days or not.
The times in my life that I've had pure cash in one of those like bank envelopes.
Yeah.
There was a specific purpose for whatever that was. You know what I mean? Like, be it rent, be it car payment. Like, I took that money out for that specific purpose. So it's rare that it's like, I just have this money on me.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. But it is interesting that you got, once again, 62% of people in Jacksonville, Florida would try to find the owner and give it back. But then, of course, Baltimore was, it says the next most dishonest. They're all dishonest, but the next most dishonest was Baltimore.
Yeah. And I think it extends to no matter what I find, if it's of value to somebody, my instinct is always to try and find. Like, I was at the grocery store on Saturday and there was a phone just laying in the middle of the aisles. And so I picked it up and it had the background of like a little girl on it. So it was like a mom's phone. And I'm like, well, I'm going to have to like now walk around this grocery store looking for this little girl to see if I can find her. And I turn around and they're standing right behind me and like give it back to them. But yeah, so I feel like you try to be nice people, especially this time of year. Like, give people their stuff back.
And doesn't that make you feel wonderful doing it anyway?
Oh yeah. And so like I handed it to the little girl and she like ran back to her mom and the mom, like so I'm going about like walking the rest of the way down the aisle and I hear the mom like tell me like, go say thank you. And then the next thing I feel is like the little girl tapping me on my leg, like, thank you for the phone. I'm like, oh, you're so welcome. Like, so yeah. And then like little moments like that, like make me feel good about myself. So.
And don't you think we need to do more of that right now? I literally would like to get together a troop of people and build on its size on a daily basis that are not going to run around with this sour look on their face, hating everyone. We got to combat that with some just decency and honesty. And I want you to be in a good mood once every 5 years. What do you say?
Yeah.
mean, some people just love being in an angry, hateful mood. They love being like that. Why do you think that? What would cause that? That you want to be pissed off?
Self-hate. Like I always go back to self-hate. Like,
well, yeah,
because it's so basic. And I remember being a kid being like, what do you mean you have to love yourself before you love others? But it's true. Like you have,
yeah.
If you have a negative thought about yourself, like if you think I'm a piece of crap, why would anyone like me? Then you're going to assume other people think.
Said that. Thank you very much, Kristyn.
Like you're going to assume other people think that of you too. And you're going to live your life thinking everybody hates me. Everyone's out to get me. I'm a garb. Like it's totally projection. And I think the moment you can find whatever happiness you can, be it, a hobby, be it your grandkids, be it knitting, I don't know. But like once you start finding things you love and thinking of yourself positively, I think that alters your brain chemistry.
I think it probably does. Yeah, it puts you in a much better frame of mind. I mean, I obviously have some trouble being a person of like a public figure, I guess is the best way to put it. There are people that cannot stand me and I've never met them.
Same.
How do they do that?
I don't know, but it used to bug me.
No,
but now it doesn't bug me at all. Like there was a small period where especially like when we were on a station that was mostly males and they would talk about the way I look and I used to read it all. And now even if I do
people on the show,
no, the comments of like, Brittany looks this way. Brittany oh my God, it's like constantly talking about the way I look. And I used to like take it in and be like, okay, well, if I fix this, if I whatever, it just doesn't even matter. It doesn't, they would never treat me like that in person. No one would ever say anything to me in person. And also like it's a combination of just not looking, or if you're going to look, just know like, you have to just block it out. There's no point.
Yeah.
But do you want to combat it by being nice to them anyway? Because that's what I do.
That's what I do. Oh my God. Yeah. Like, well, I used to just, yeah, totally. I used to tag my mom in it, Tom. Like I used to go,
oh, okay.
Hey, Beverly, why is she saying that I look like a crackhead in this photo? And my mom would be like, you don't. It's okay. And so all of a sudden I literally told my mom on you on Facebook. That's what I used to do.
But I have a question. How would your mom know what a crackhead looks like?
Oh, she knows.
She does?
Oh, Beverly.
Beverly's been around the block.
Beverly.
The woman of the streets. Is that what you're saying?
A woman of the night.
No, she's got that street
smart. You're talking about a friend of mine there. Watch your steps. Sister.
Okay. Well, Beverly can handle herself. Let's just say that.
She can. That's true. Do you think we will get back more toward the center? Because it is overwhelming how hateful people are right now. It's amazing.
I think it's actually gotten better.
I hope so.
When the internet first came in, people acted wild. I mean, now it's less. Oh, yeah. Like if you posted just a photo of me, the chances are people have more accountability or will defend you in the comments. Like if I post a picture of me on something, whatever, if somebody was like, you look fat or you look ugly, somebody would be like, lock it up. You know what I mean? Like there is more accountability than there used to be on some of these sites. Like it felt like more of the wild, wild west. And now there's a tiny bit of like, let's not.
Yeah. And especially because like Brittany, like you're saying, if you posted a picture and somebody was like, oh my gosh, Brittany, her hair looks terrible today, then somebody to defend Brittany would go to, like my page and be like, oh, really, Tevin?
Yeah.
Well, what about this? You look like XYZ.
Yeah.
Like take me down. So yeah, there is that, as much as there are the negative comments that are never going to go away, people are more likely to, take the extra step to cut down the negative person in support of Brittany. So
one of my favorite shticks is what actually Phil does on Twitter. He'll get people in his comments daily. Mm-hmm. Like it actually, like people are professional haters when it comes to him, but he will just like grab their profile picture and then zoom in really close on their face and then just quote their tweet with that picture of like some guy smoking a cigar and it's just super close in. It's just like, that's funny.
Yeah.
That's funny.
So they don't like Phil?
Phil, he is there's a good portion of the Minnesota sports community that either very much enjoy him or very much don't enjoy him.
Why? What is he? Why?
He's just been in the game for a while, with his takes. You talk about Kirk Cousins maybe not being the right guy, and then Kirk Cousins fans are like, well, you're not our guy anymore, and so now we don't like you. Same thing as like when you, not to drag her into this, but like if people say, hey, I don't think Taylor Swift is all that great. Not that I do. I'm just saying, this is an example here, but people come out of the woodworks and be like, well, what's so special about you? You know?
Yeah. And well, and especially with sports, you talk about so much. And so if you say, hey, I think the Vikings are going to win, and then they lose, everybody, oh, well, how smart are you? The Vikings actually, and then the next week you say they're going to lose, and then they win. It's like, no matter what you say, you're going to be potentially wrong. And people love to bring that out as if they are all batting 1,000%.
Yeah, exactly.
And especially with the sports, you'd have to be pretty vanilla to make everybody happy. Like, it'd be like my sport reporting would be like, I hope everyone has a fun game tonight and has a great time, and the real championship is friendship.
Yeah. And especially on national shows, and you'll see they're all argumentative based, Tom, right?
Yeah.
So you get like First Take on ESPN, for example. It's a debate show. So it's kind of changed the way that sports is covered now, which is now transitions into the listeners as well.
Oh, so now listeners think they should act that way as well.
Yeah. Well, because I mean, some shows, it would be like if you had a take on, people being nice, and you're like, well, listeners, let's hear your side. And then you bring all these people that are coming into it expecting to argue. That's what these sports shows are doing.
You know, the amazing thing about that for me, because I haven't been on social media in 11 years. I just, well, when it first started, people were really, have they gotten better or worse, do you think, from 10, 11 years ago?
I think better.
Have they? Good.
Yeah, I mean, I know, AJ, but like, think about this. People now at some of those sites have their own information and have pictures of their life. And I think there's a little bit more accountability. Back in the day, it was like random sites, and there was like, you wouldn't post. It would be more of kind of a burner account feel, but it was just how the internet worked. I think people, I don't know. And maybe it's this too, is like, I think people are reluctant to now comment on the way people look immediately, which I think is kind of nice.
But who cares how somebody else looks? I've never cared about, look at that freak. How's that my business? I'll never see him again.
Yeah.
I'd say it's yes and no. Like, to an extent, it has gotten better, but also it's gotten worse in a sense. This is a recent example in the hockey Twitter sports universe here. Corey Perry, who's been playing in the league for like 15 or so years, like maybe a Hall of Famer at some point, whatever. Tevin, have you heard this story?
Yes.
Okay. He joined up with the Chicago Blackhawks this year. He's a seasoned veteran. He's a locker room guy that everybody loves, blah, blah, blah. Randomly, he just got pulled from the lineup one night unannounced, and he got sent home, and there was really no information going on about it. After like a week or two of him just being away from the team with zero information, there was a rumor that started. And granted, from what I saw, it was a very like poor quality picture, but of text and stuff. But a rumor started going around that he had slept allegedly with Connor Bedard, who was the number 1 draft pick and this up and coming like superstar guy, had slept with his mom on a team trip where the moms were invited. And the Blackhawks put out zero like statement about that. It's pretty much saying like, no, that's not true. So people are like, oh my God, is that actually what it is? And then, some writers kind of got into the thick of things, and it's like, okay, no, this is not it. But people let this 18-year-old kid attempting to live out his dream of being a professional NHLer having to deal, because he's 18. He's definitely on Twitter. Whether you want to say like, oh, he can block it out. He's seeing thousands upon thousands of people saying that, yeah, your teammate, who you probably were pretty solid friends with, who was a mentor to you, just slept with your mom. And then they came out and kind of said that it was a different thing. But there, I'm sure, are people out there now who still have that lasting impression of, yep, nope, Corey Perry did that. It didn't happen, but now that guy has to live with that essentially the rest of his career because of some made up thing on the internet that got out of hand.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, Tom, to kind of answer your question, the people on social media haven't gotten nicer, but the people that are willing to speak up and support and kind of go against the negative comments, there's more of those being more vocal.
Yeah, I just don't know. And why do people want to go on social media and be so negative? Do people like that negative? Some people enjoy you being an asshole on social media.
I think they like that anonymity. Is that the word of like, which
so
I think is
too.
Yes, exactly. I don't interact with anybody that responds to like a sports thing to me if they don't have a picture of themselves and their name. If it's like Vikes fan 274 and it's a picture of like Justin Jefferson, no offense, you're not worth my time. If you can't own up to what you're saying on the internet with a name and a picture of yourself, frankly, it's not worth being said, and you're just not worth my time. I view myself as a braver person in that sense. But the anonymity of like being able to go on there, get people riled up, because not everybody has that view as me. People want to get in those arguments and they like feed off that. It's like a driving thing. I think that's what it is more than the pleasure of insulting. I want to say that I don't think people have that drive of they feel better when they insult people. It's like they feed off of getting people riled up about the stuff they say.
And,
there's definitely trolls out there.
And it's quick, it's easy. Like it doesn't have the extra interaction as, you know, when we're talking. If I said something to offend you, Tom, I would, and you said, hey, that sucked. What you just said sucked. I'd say, oh my God, I'm sorry. Like it's just a drive-by it might not even put that much of the day and thought into it. And like you have to remember that also with these comments, some people just suck at interacting. Like we'll get emails from people who I adore on, you know, and they are meaning to be funny. And if I didn't know who they were, I could read that and go, wow, that's mean. And then you go, oh, they were just like sarcastic or silly. You know what I mean? Like it's just a lot is lost in that communication aspect with that quick text or that quick Twitter or tweet.
Yeah. And I'm sure too, there's a lot of people that, you know, you're at work all day, you can't go cuss your boss out or your coworkers out. So now you get home and this is like, okay, this is my free time where I can, you know, vent my entire day out on
kind
something.
of a throwaway comment too feeling. Yeah.
You know, it's so interesting about listening to you guys because what's made as a public figure, made my life so difficult is that people are aware that I never kissed ass to get in the position I'm in. I will not do that. I just don't do that kind of thing, and it's never going to happen. So I think most people, if they feel that they have to suck up to their boss to get a raise or something, they get pissed off at me because I would never do that. I don't even know where that came from. I cannot do it. Even if I tried to suck up to somebody, I couldn't. Oh, pat him on the back. Oh, how you do? I don't know why, but I can't do it. Even if I tried to do it, I wouldn't be able to finish the sentence. And I think that pisses people off when they think they have to do it, and you don't have to do it. You are going to get raked over the coal, particularly in Minnesota. Minnesotans do love to be passive aggressive. There's no doubt. Would you say that has not changed, the passive aggressiveness of Minnesotans?
Yeah, I don't, because I haven't lived anywhere else besides like Kuwait and Iraq. Like I don't have a comparison. You always talk about the differences. I wouldn't know. Like that's
true. If you only lived here, that's probably true. Yeah, I mean, it's one of the first things I loved about going to the East Coast. And look, I love living in Minnesota. There's no question about that. And I have many, many friends, all the rest of it. But I did love the fact the first guy I ever met in New York was a taxi driver who basically told me to go F myself, which I thought was wonderful. He didn't say it behind my back or anything like that. He just basically said, that's the guy who said, familiarity is the lead. What is it? Familiarity is, yeah, exactly. But that's a big part of it too. People get pissed off because they have to, want in their job, maybe kiss ass and, all the rest of it. And they really resent the shit out of you if you don't have to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Tom, because you've lived in, New York or bigger markets than Minnesota, do you think it is because it's a smaller, more community feel here in Minnesota where you're like, I'm going to probably run into this person again, so I can't be a complete asshole? Whereas in New York, you're like, I'm going to see a million different people every day. I'm never going to see this person again. I can go tell them to F themselves and not feel bad about it.
Yeah, I suppose that probably is true. It's just one of those things. I mean, seriously, if I go by what I love is I read these stories about, this young fella grew up in a very poor neighborhood and he got a job and they just suck up to him and kiss his ass, whatever. I never had that happen to me. Nobody was ever, he's a kid out of nowhere. And that just didn't happen. And I don't care that it didn't happen. My life has been great. I've had a nice career, all the rest of it. But I don't know why, unless you play the game, and this I think is the point, unless you play the game by their rules, they do not like you.
Yeah.
You find that to be true?
Yeah, and I think that honestly, Tom, like we've talked about before, how boring of a broadcaster would you be? Would all of us be if everybody just thought you were the bee's knees? I mean, you'd be going on and again talking like one of those knit pillows in an old person's house that says like friendship is the real reward. Like, what do you say? Like, I have people mad at me about things I say all the time, and I just go, but I'm fine with that. Like, how boring would it be if everyone was like, Brittany, she's vanilla. Everyone likes her. Okay.
That's not what I'm saying, though. I'd never known you to do things like that.
Yeah, but like, what about, okay, just me liking Taylor Swift is polarizing, and that's fine. Like, this is just a stupid example because people have strong feelings about it, and that's fine. Like, but you know what I mean? Things that you don't even think are controversial. Yeah, I go, my favorite color's green. Well, mine's orange. Okay.
Well, I can't remember, this was years and years and years ago when you were still in the Itasca building. There was a guest you had on. I don't even remember what she was talking about, some book she had written. And Tom, you had said that you think that you can find beauty in all women. You're like, I think that all women have something that makes them beautiful.
Yeah.
It's very non-offensive statement to make. And the lady was like, well, that's offensive. And
she was offended. Yeah.
And it was like, so no matter what you say, somebody's gonna.
No, you're absolutely right. Because I apparently like women. I got to be honest with you. There are very, very few women. There are a couple, but very few women I don't like. And I suppose maybe that's because I was raised by women, my older two sisters and my mother. So maybe that's why I feel that way. But you're right. She had to jump right in and like, oh, that offended me. The fact that I like women offends you?
That's so
How
weird.
the hell does that offend you?
Because can I say that? Because I feel the same way. Like, I get along with women better than men. Like, is that wrong if I say it? Like,
I don't know. What do you think, Tevin?
You know, it kind of makes me offended that you would say that. I can't think of a reason why I'm offended, but I just know that I am.
If everybody would just, honest God, be upfront and honest instead of talking behind people's back and backstabbing and kissing ass and doing all that stuff, it'd be a much better world. So actually, you're the pain. Oh, I did, by the way, get a text over the weekend from a friend of mine because we were talking about Wikipedia last week and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He said, man, they got some great quotes by you in there. I said, those are not quotes. They made that shit up. And he goes, I said, what was your favorite one? He goes, my favorite one. And I'm pretty sure you would say so. If you didn't, you would. There's a direct quote to me that I had said to somebody. Yeah, well, I'll attack whomever I wish to attack. That probably is something I would say. They might be right about that.
oh my God.
You know what I
Okay.
mean?
We have to talk someday about the KQ Morning Show Wikipedia.
Oh,
because
God.
So during the commercial, when I was doing phones there during the commercial break, I would just write wild things on there because it was
Really?
wild, like just funny things. It was never about you. It was usually about like random people.
Yeah.
And then it would get deleted and then re-put on. And it was so funny. I mean, we used to laugh so hard about it.
But why would I still don't understand why people get so upset? It's the printed word. Who cares? I got to believe 90% of the printed word is bullshit.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Well, it's nowadays. Now the KQ Morning Show's Wikipedia is so boring because we used to just put so many random things on there because it was like it got like X listed. Now it's pretty much like it is a radio show. Done. Like that is pretty much it.
God, it makes me cry.
Tom, you also shouldn't care what necessarily the printed word says about you because there's about 10 people that probably still get the actual paper.
That's true.
So there's not a lot of people that are going to be reading it anyway.
You know what's so sad, Tevin, is I get the paper every day. I walk to the end of the driveway, I pick it up and throw it in the trash. I don't know why they keep bringing it to me.
I'll say, do you like not cancel your subscription?
No, we don't have a subscription. They just give me a newspaper every day, and I'm like, oh, I don't need this.
Frankly, I'd look into that because I feel like you're paying for a service that you don't know about.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah.
As long as I'm keeping the kid alive, as long as he's pocketing some money for delivering, good for him. I don't care.
There you go.
It all works out. But yeah, that's the whole thing. It just, and if I hear one more, and I know we got to go to break. We're already behind, but I don't give a rat's ass. But I just look at all these national people now, and you tune into one news and it goes this way. You tune into the other news, it goes that way. Please understand, ladies and gentlemen, they don't really believe that. They are saying those extreme things to get you to watch, because the more people that watch, the more money they make. It's always about money. Don't forget, everything in the world is about money. Do people know that now? That's what's causing all the hatred, because you got money and I don't.
Yeah.
That's causing a lot of hatred in the world.
I could see that.
But get off your ass then. If you need to work 3 jobs, if you love money that much, then go work 3 jobs. If you need that much money.
The funny thing is, time and energy wise, if you're trying to find it somewhere else, you're putting in the same time and energy probably if you just did that, but whatever.
No, I think you're absolutely right about it. You're working as hard now hating people with money as it would be to earn the money yourself.
Yeah.
But people don't see it that way, and I don't know why that is. But I'm sorry, I got us way behind. But I love getting involved in conversations like that because it's true human emotion.
Yeah.
I love looking at human emotion, why people get so happy about things, why they get so upset about things. Like I said, I helped that woman. I brought her cart back up because I'm trying to be even nicer to people to combat some of this hatred.
Yeah.
And she was so touched and happy that I would do that for her. I mean, it was very sweet. Made my day, actually. So maybe you could do that for somebody else and then make your day better. Right?
Let's all do one nice thing for other people today, and we'll talk about it tomorrow.
I like that. Works for me. And we will be right back with whatever's up next. That's all I know.
This is the Tom Barnard Show. Listen live at tombernardshow.com or on the Tom Barnard Show app.
This is Bob Sansevier, and I want to tell you about Dave Bialki from Bialki Law. Dave represented my wife, Mary, when she had a significant workplace injury. She was very happy with the job Dave did. If you have a work-related injury and have Dave represent you, I'm betting you'll be happy too. Dave is a down-to-earth guy. He grew up in northern Minnesota, rides a Harley, and worked various jobs doing concrete, electrical, plumbing, roofing, and carpentry work. Dave works for people with work-related injuries. If you work construction, or anywhere for that matter, and you're hurt or even just hurting, you should talk to Dave. Let's face it, our bodies wear out. If your body is worn out from work, if your knees or back or shoulders hurt from things you do at work, do what Mary did. Call Dave and talk to him about it at Bialki Law to set up a free initial consultation. The number to call is 763-571-2410. That's 763-571-2410. Or visit bialkilaw.com. That's BIALKE law.com.
Tom here, and I want to discuss a partnership that has been wonderful in my life, Zero Res Carpet Care. Very good friends of mine. Nothing is better to someone with a family than having a completely clean home. Your carpet is the biggest filter in your house. If you want to talk about pet dander or foot traffic, dirt from the outside, they all eventually reside in your carpet. So, Zero Res Carpet Care. Listen, around the holidays, you need to contact ZeroResMinnesota.com or call 952-ZEROREZ. That's 952-ZERO-RES. They clean your home with their electrolyzed pH-elevated water that doesn't use chemicals or soaps that smell like a janitor's closet like other cleaning services. How about a Tom Barnard deal? Well, here it is. Get 3 rooms, Zero Resified, starting at $129, and don't forget your air ducts. Mention me, and they'll discount your air vents by $75 too. This is for the entire month, so call them right now, 952-0-RES, backward or forwarded, spells the same, or book online, ZeroResMinnesota.com. If it's available, ask for them to come to your place in the Tom Barnard named service truck. What an honor that was, by the way. Just mention me by name and get the special deal to get your home clean and your heart happy. Zero Res Carpet. I'm so happy to welcome back our longtime friend, Sabre Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning, to the show. I've known Steve, the owner, for many years, and I completely trust Sabre to keep my house comfortable. Why? Sabre does everything the right way, and they always put the customer first. I love the team at Sabre because their service experts are experienced NATE certified technicians, not salespeople. Their pricing is completely upfront, and they fix only what needs to be fixed, nothing more. Sabre is dedicated to giving customers what they need, when they need it, at the fair price, keeping your family safe and comfortable without breaking the bank. Give Sabre Heating and Air Conditioning a try. I know they'll take care of you just like they've taken care of me and my family. Whether you need a new Bryant furnace or air conditioner replaced, or just simply need a service call to get you going again, go to saberheating.com. That's SABRE heating.com. Sabre and Bryant. whatever it takes.
The Tom Barnard Show is proud to have partners like North American Banking Company, Bradshaw and Bryant, and attorney and advertiser Dave Bielke.
I've been advertising on Tom Barnard shows for years. I like Tom, not just because he's a good guy, but because the ads I run on his show bring me new clients that are hurt at work and need legal help. Tommy B works for me.
If you'd like to find out more about growing your business with the Tom Barnard Show, go to tombarnardshow.com, keyword partner.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. I just looked up. I noticed something. Can you read what it says on my hat?
No, not even close.
Good. Glad to hear it. Because then I won't tell you what it says. Because I won this hat. It makes me look like a big shot, but I won it actually in a golf tournament many years ago. So I'm not with that company, and I'm not that it's a bad company, but I just looked up and went, oh, maybe I should wear a different hat. It's fine.
All right then. No, on camera it just looks like a gray hat.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Glad to hear it. No question about it. So, Andy, what's the latest with you?
Not a whole lot. Just
Same deal.
Yep, getting ready for our new fireplace.
I am I love this, and I suppose it. I take joy in it. But when we look at each other on our cell phones, like Andy's at his house, we're at our house, we say hello and all the rest of it. For some reason, the last few times, Ethan looks at Kathryn and goes, and just walks away. And then I'll hop on and he'll start laughing.
Yep.
He doesn't even say anything. He just starts laughing. Right. But little kids and why they pick it, because believe me, I'll have a turn where he just goes to me and he'll laugh at everything Kathryn says. And that's just how it's going to work. But that's one of the joys of having that, the photo or the video operation. Or option, going on phones. That is a huge part of that's a wonderful thing, isn't it? That you can actually look at someone when you're talking to them. I remember they had that in a movie many, many years ago, that there was a desktop and your phone had a video screen on it.
Yep.
I'm like,
well, we've been watching Home Improvement. That was the mid to late 90s. Yep. And in one of the later seasons, one of them has a video phone. It's like this brand new technology and super expensive and super cool. The screen is probably about the size of a postage stamp. It's got
there you go.
Maybe 256 color screen. You couldn't tell anything that's going on, but it's been a dream of people for a very long time.
Yeah, no question. No doubt about it. All right, I'm going to go with this story because I've looked at the headline. This is the most disgusting thing I've ever seen about Christmas. Well, you ready? Netflix viewers have found themselves disgusted after tuning in to watch a new Christmas movie on the platform on Netflix, only to be presented with an unnecessary depiction of incest. You guys know about that? Well, you guys posted it.
Which Christmas movie would this be?
It'd be called Family Switch. Who posted this? You guys, neither one of you posted
AJ?
Yeah, I would say I didn't post this.
Oh. I assumed it was one of you, but it was AJ, you think, huh?
Yeah,
family members switch bodies during a rare planetary alignment. So it sounds like Freaky Friday.
Yeah.
But why is there incest in it?
I'm guessing it involves the switching of bodies somehow. Although, does one of them switch into a stranger?
I don't know. Here we go.
A way that switching bodies with your own family would lead to that sort of thing.
Family Switch, starring Jennifer Garner, Ed Helms, Emma Myers, and Brady Noon, tells the tale of a family who inadvertently switch bodies after a peculiar encounter at a planetarium. Daughter Cece switches with her mom, Jess, while son Wyatt switches places with his dad, Bill. And so, as can be expected in any body swap comedy, chaos ensues.
Okay, so the son is in the dad's body.
Yeah. And so if you skip down a little ways, it's not as incestuous. It's still bad, but it's not like as graphic as you would anticipate.
Well, it's like, because if the sister is in the mom's body and the brother's in the dad's body, then if they were to kiss, that would be the brother kissing the sister, technically.
Yes.
I think it's the idea.
Yeah, and which is what unfolded. Yeah. Essentially, there's a scene where they're like, oh, it's the 12 days of Christmas. Mom, Dad, you have to kiss 12 times. And then they're like, I think they're on to us. And so then they smooch, and it's technically a brother kissing the sister.
That is not incest.
No,
you can
that
kiss
is
your sister.
I don't know. It's not really a Christmas movie. It takes place during Christmas, but Christmas doesn't really have anything to do with it, it seems.
But that's what they're calling incest? That's not even close to incest.
Well, I guess it depends on how involved the kiss is.
It's
Yes. Well, some viewers have found the movie amusing and enjoyable. Others couldn't help but feel utterly horrified by the direction of the story during a particular interaction between Cece and Wyatt when they are their parents in their parents' bodies. In the scene, Cece, while appearing as her mother, Jess, is joined by a group of women at her house, one of which shares that she's been told that couples need a minimum of 12 kisses a day just to sustain a relationship. Now, I wouldn't know about Kat. Your mom and I kiss every day, but I don't think it's 12 times.
Seems like a lot.
You don't keep a tally?
No, there's one. Put her on the old blackboard. Yeah, I don't know, but that's not incest. It might make you feel a little uncomfortable or whatever, but kissing your people, I've kissed my sisters before. I mean, not 12 times, but.
And the whole point is it's something they don't want to do. It's like one of those predicaments
Right.
of, no, we're going to get caught. Like we have to, whatever. Like it's just not that deep.
So basically they just put that in there to draw people to the story because they drew me in with it.
It almost sounds like it might be an ad.
It really does sound like, Andy, you might be right. This might be an ad for the movie.
Like, oh, people are all watching this movie because of this crazy scene you got to see.
Yeah, you're right. You know what? Now that you say that, I bet you that's exactly why that appears there, because they were, look at our kooky movie with incest in it.
And to show, the number of viewers that are horrified by this article has 4 comments.
Also, the original Back to the Future was like the original, worst incense. That was.
Yeah, he
when
felt
he had
for his
to
mother.
make out with his mom and she tried to go a little farther. That was way worse.
Yeah, because he goes back in time to when his parents were teenagers, and so he meets a girl. He doesn't know it's his mom, and so
he doesn't know it's his mom.
Right.
Our Star Wars.
Yeah, I was going to say Star Wars did it before that.
They did?
Leia. Yeah.
Yeah,
Luke
they
and
were
Leia are
like
brother
they
and
had
sister.
kissed and then they find out they're brother and sister.
Oh, so that wasn't incestuous though, because they didn't know they were brother and sister.
Right. But I mean, and then Leia says, somehow I've always known. That's a direct quote. So
my brother?
Maybe she did know, which makes Leia look a lot worse
she was curious.
In retrospect.
How many Star Wars are there now?
Like, how many what?
How many Star Wars are there now?
Movies, there are 9. Like main. 9? If we're talking about like extra, like side movies and stuff, there's got to be 13 maybe now.
Jesus.
And then
really?
there's video games, there's TV series, there's books. Yeah.
Because
There's enough Star Wars that if you wanted to, you could do nothing but consume Star Wars for the next 20 years, probably.
Because I saw the original Star Wars, and then I saw something about Jedi or something.
Mm-hmm.
Was that the name of one of them?
Jedi is in fact a Star Wars thing.
And then there's one where it's like the Attack of the Clones. I think that's one too.
Attack of the Clones was the animated one, the 3D one, I think.
Oh, okay.
I think. I never watched any of the TV shows or anything.
I've not seen 1 minute of Star Wars.
Oh, Attack of the Clones is the second. I'm thinking of Clone Wars. Clone Wars is what I'm thinking of. Attack of the Clones is the second movie. So, yeah.
Of the reboots of the prequel.
Yep. Second prequel film.
And then there's something about an emperor or something. Is one of them the emperor? Something?
Emperor Palpatine. He's like the main big guy.
The Emperor Strikes Back is the movie.
Empire Strikes Back.
You're thinking of Emperor's New Groove.
Yes.
Yep, which is also great.
No touchy.
All right, you guys brought this up earlier, so I got to finally read this story. Nearly half of all young adults in the U.S., ages 18 to 29, live with their parents.
That's crazy.
Now, 18 to 20, I mean, 18 to 29, half of people 18 to 29 are then 18 to 24. So, I mean, that makes sense, right?
Still living with your parents after college?
I mean, during college or even before 18. Yeah. What percentage of 18-year-olds don't live with their parents? It's got to be like 10.
Yeah, it's probably not very high.
So,
That's true. And nearly half of all young adults 18 to 29 live with their parents, and this living arrangement has boosting the profits of luxury goods companies, according to Morgan Stanley. The number of people moving back in with at least one parent spiked in 2020 at the height of the COVID-19 pandemic to 49.5%, according to census data. It's since edged down to 48% last year, but the rate is expected by the bank to remain there for 2020, even as people return to a hybrid work setup. When young adults free up their budgets from daily necessities, they have more income that they can spend on discretionary items like travel, entertainment, and luxury goods. We think the structural change in demographics might have been overlooked, Morgan Stanley's Edouard Aubin and a team of analysts wrote in a note on December 9th. One of the key demographic trends in the United States and broader Western market has been the rising number of young adults living with their parents. But didn't that happen during the World Wars too? World War I, World War II, Vietnam, that a lot of young people did live with their parents?
Yeah. I wonder if there's a rate of living with parents by year kind of thing.
What stood out to me in what you read, Tom, was that the business for luxury goods goes up because people, rather than paying rent, are buying. Maybe if you if you adjust your priorities and maybe don't buy that Gucci purse and find it a place where you don't have to live with your parents.
Yeah, well, there is a lot of that though.
Yeah,
I got to ask Brittany this one because you and I think talked about this before, but I'm not sure. There was a woman at dinner over the weekend, and she was at a different table. So we're in a restaurant. She was at a different table, but she was showing off her new purse. Ooh. And she had to let everybody know that her new purse cost $15,000.
Damn.
For a purse.
Spending that much on a purse is just gross behavior.
And you hear famous people that have a ton of money, and they'll go, people that buy the luxury stuff, they're like, it's such a scam. Like,
yeah,
100%.
Like rich people that are like really, really wealthy, they're like, I don't buy that stuff.
No, they get it for free.
Right.
It's like the company gives it to them because they get more business having a celebrity carry it around than they would lose giving these things away. So it's like, I give you my $5,000 purse, but I get so much publicity because all the paparazzi are taking pictures going, oh, look who's got the new Louis Vuitton purse.
Right.
Well, you think about that. If they hired him to do a commercial, it'd probably cost them a couple $100,000.
Exactly. So just give them a purse. Free advertising.
What is the big brand again, Brittany? It starts with a B.
Balenciaga.
Balenciaga.
Hermes is the probably the most expensive purse.
Hermes is?
Hermes?
Yeah,
Like
yes. Hermes has oh my God, I can't remember the name, but it's a very basic looking purse, but you can't buy it. So let's say you gave me $6 million right now and I want to buy a $5,000 purse from Hermes. I can't go buy it. I have to go to the store and first buy a scarf or some mugs, whatever they have available. And then you have to kind of keep going and create a relationship with the salesperson to eventually they'll offer you up. They say, hey, we have a black purse available with this style. Do you want that? And you'll say, yep, I'll take that. You have to woo them.
Right. Because their brands, they're all built on exclusivity. So it's there's only 10 of these super high end things, but then they make, just their generic stuff available to the general public, which is what they make all of their money off of.
Yep.
Yeah, because who the hell would? Buying a purse for $15,000, $20,000. Why the hell would you do that?
No.
My favorite is I saw a quote where there was some kid that was living with their parents or something like that, and they're like, I bought this $3,000 Gucci belt, and their mom comments, yeah, you bought a $3,000 Gucci belt to hold up your $20 Levi jeans.
I know.
That's where people's priorities are.
Well, that's the thing. It's like when people do things like that, where it's like, I'm dressing in normal clothes, but then I've got a $500 watch. The incongruity makes you look like you're trying too hard, I guess. Yeah. You don't look rich. You look like you just wasted $500 that you don't have.
Right. And then you're sleeping on your mattress on the floor.
Exactly.
No, it doesn't make any sense.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you guys just made a good point because I'm thinking, how many people still wear a watch? I mean, I wear one of these exercise watches.
Not many.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So what are they going to do with all those very, very expensive watches?
I think they still
Wonder Money
wear
was
them as an accessory. Like I think that's still very common.
Oh, it
especially
is. Okay.
Men don't really have a lot of accessories, so a lot of times like that's their
Yeah.
accessory. Like I like there's certain things I do like. I probably fall on this more than most. I have bought bags that are expensive to me. Have I ever hit anything in the 4 digits? Never even close. And I still think I buy like every 4 or 5 years I'll buy a nice purse that I really want.
Mhm.
But nothing like a Birkin.
Right.
So
And you're not like going to the bank, taking out a loan, so that way you can go buy.
no, nothing is sacrificed in these scenarios, and then they're used to death. Like I buy, like I have a very basic Gucci bag that I love. I use it constantly. It's not like I'm taking it out for whatever. And I
Yeah.
love it. I love it. I don't know why. I just have this weird, I love the print. It reminds me of my grandma. All these things like are attached to it. And whatever. I don't know. Some people buy expensive cars. I don't care. But like, and again, I'm telling you, mine, I've never paid anything of relevant. Like there, you probably have sweaters that are more expensive than my purses.
Yeah, I mean, it's under now. What about those expensive brands? And the one I throw out, but they have so many other things going, and I don't know the names of the really expensive watches. I have no idea. But like Cartier watches, they were
Yeah.
pretty expensive, weren't they?
Yeah. Yeah, they are.
Or do they still make those, or do they not even make them anymore?
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're
they still
They
make
do
them.
still make them, but
Richard Mille is another very popular brand that's, considered like a luxury brand. But
okay.
yeah, I mean, the watch community, that I don't feel like is ever going away, because people will buy them and they never wear them. They just hold them because that's their, retirement
Yep.
fun type
Oh,
of
so
thing.
they'll just sell them later on. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, because watches tend to only appreciate.
They have, but once demand goes down, they don't appreciate
Yeah.
anymore. So you have to be careful about that.
But it's just jewelry now. It's not there to tell time. It's just jewelry.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
You
Yeah.
probably don't even have. Well, what percentage of fancy watches use a battery, or are they all hand wound?
I don't know, but
most of them are hand wound if they're like a luxury.
I would assume. I've never worn or owned a fancy watch in my life, so I don't.
I always wear a watch, and before, like I just like having a watch on if it's the Apple one or a normal one.
Yeah, I got a Fitbit, which is a watch, but
Totally, but so it's like I will look towards my wrist, whatever. But there's a lot of times that you'll ask them the time, and they'll be wearing a watch as an accessory, and they'll look at their phone, and that's how you know, like,
Oh my
it's an
God.
which is fine. It's like a
No, it's
bracelet.
fine.
Yeah, like I wear bracelets, I wear necklaces. It's fine. Like especially guys, I always think like at least you got something. I don't know, like if that's what you want. If you don't, that's fine too.
But do they still appreciate in value?
For the most part.
They do? Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, it's like-
smart
it's like-
watches or regular watches? Because smart
Regular
watches
ones.
absolutely do not.
Oh yeah, no, but like if you have some diamond crusted watch, like it's still gonna hold its value pretty well.
Yeah,
well, that's good. But it's probably not gaining value as years go by.
it might be. It
Yeah,
depends.
it depends. Yeah, what brand
suppose.
and how many of them there are.
That makes sense. Could you guys do me a favor and put a value on Kristyn Burt?
Ooh.
I think she'd be. So you remember those Amex commercials where it'd be like tickets to the game, $20. She'd be at the end where it's like priceless.
Yeah.
Oh, she'd be priceless?
Yep.
Okay. When we come back from this break, we'll talk to the priceless one herself.
This is the Tom Barnard Show.
Tom here, and I want to discuss a partnership that has been wonderful in my life. Zero Res Carpet Care, very good friends of mine. Nothing is better to someone with a family than having a completely clean home. Your carpet is the biggest filter in your house. If you want to talk about pet dander or foot traffic, dirt from the outside, they all eventually reside in your carpet. So, Zero Res Carpet Care. Listen, around the holidays, you need to contact ZeroResMinnesota.com. Call 952-ZEROREZ. That's 952-0RES. They clean your home with their electrolyzed pH-elevated water that doesn't use chemicals or soaps that smell like a janitor's closet like other cleaning services. How about a Tom Barnard deal? Well, here it is. Get 3 rooms, 0 resified, starting at $129, and don't forget your air ducts. Mention me, and they'll discount your air vents by $75 too. This is for the entire month, so call them right now, 9520-RES, backward or forwarded, spells the same, or book online, 0resminnesota.com. If it's available, ask for them to come to your place in the Tom Barnard named service truck. What an honor that was, by the way. Just mention me by name and get the special deal to get your home clean and your heart happy. 0 Res Carpet. You have all helped support MyPillow and their employees in these tough economic times. Mike Lindell knows this and continues to give back to listeners with great deals on his most popular products. Right now, you can save 50% on Queen and King pillows and the original My Slippers, and the MyPillow 6-pack bath towel sets are back in stock. The proprietary technology makes them extremely absorbent, yet still provides that soft feel you look for in a towel. Set comes with 2 bath towels, 2 hand towels, and 2 washcloths. Regular price is $79.98. And for a limited time, you can get this 6-pack towel set for only $39.99 with promo code TOM. That's a 50% savings. So go to MyPillow.com, use promo code TOM to save 50% on the MyPillow 6-pack towel sets. That is just $39.99 for a set. This deal will not last long. Enter promo code TOM for this special and many more. Guys, if you want to reignite your intimacy once and for all, listen, just give Twin Cities Premier Health a call for a discreet and confidential in-office evaluation by their highly trained staff of medical professionals. Acoustic wave therapy sessions are 25 to 30-minute treatments with no pain, no downtime afterward. And right now, Twin Cities Premier Health is offering a free treatment and a free consultation when you book today. Receive this $800 value when you use code word TOM at TwinCitiesPremierHealth.com. You may know that age-related erectile dysfunction is most commonly caused by a buildup of plaque in the arteries that supply blood to the erectile tissue. Acoustic wave therapy can rescue your relationship and has been clinically proven to break up plaque. Definitely take advantage of this limited time special offer. Receive a free treatment and a free consultation when you book today. This is a savings of $800 when you use code word TOM at TwinCitiesPremierHealth.com. Be sure to use promo code TOM so we get credit for sending you. I wouldn't recommend a service like this unless I knew they could help you. TwinCitiesPremierHealth.com. Uncle Tommy, what do you think of that action? Kristyn Burt now joins us, ladies and gentlemen, ready to just reveal to us the magnificence of being in Hollywood before Christmas.
Which is not very Christmassy. It's weird to be when you live in snow your whole life and then you spend your first Christmas in California. You're like, what is this? You're in flip-flops and a tank top. I'm used to it now, but that first year I was actually a little homesick.
Well, they still doll up Rodeo Drive and all that, don't they?
They do. In fact, I was there on Thursday night and it looked beautiful. It just has a different feeling. I think because I came from New York City straight into Los Angeles, where New York is steeped in like holiday tradition, whether it's the Rockefeller Tree or the Radio City Show, New York City Ballet's Nutcracker. Like out here, there aren't a lot of traditions. They're trying. And that's why I was in Beverly Hills on Thursday night. I went to the opening night of Love Actually Live, which I think was its 4th or 5th year there. They're trying to like start traditions. We have a new ballet company that's doing Nutcracker. So hopefully within a decade, we'll kind of have traditions here.
Well, what's interesting about that, and I don't know if this is the situation or not, but you would think with such a large Spanish population, they would blow Christmas up.
You would think so. I just think that California is such a transient state. So many people are not from here and they leave for the holidays. Like when you like if you're here for Thanksgiving or you stay for Christmas, there's no traffic because literally everyone jetted out of LAX as soon as they could and went to wherever they're from.
Oh, yeah, I suppose that does make sense. So they just I often wonder about that. And about 30 years ago, they offered me the morning show at KLOS. You think I would have ever fit into that market?
You could have. I think you could have. I mean, John and Ken have done it on KFI. And there is and I mean, they fit in. They do very well.
Mark and Brian did well. I mean, Mark and Brian did well, right?
Mark and Brian did well. Yeah, we've had a lot of like really good teams over the years. I mean, Ryan Seacrest is still on the air here too.
God, is he really?
He is.
He's not even.
Although a lot of his segments are pre-taped now, so it's like I think like he does like maybe an hour or two live, and then the other 2 hours are completely taped. So.
Oh, okay. Well, hey, whatever works. But so not a lot of, because you're right. in New York, you're going to know when it's Christmas time. I will tell you that.
It's like Christmas threw up everywhere. It's fabulous.
It is. Yep.
Yeah, and I kind of missed that. Last year I was in New York City right around this time, and I just did like a massive like speed tour just to see all of my favorite spots, like ran through Macy's to see, all of their decorations, and then like ran to Rockefeller, and you've got to run through Rockefeller because otherwise you'll get caught up in the crowds. Saks Fifth Avenue lights, Tiffany's. It's also beautiful. I always feel like Christmas in New York is so magical.
I couldn't agree more. Yeah, Kathryn and I lived there for a few years, and then found out Andy was coming, so we moved back to Minnesota because I could not see raising a kid at 20th Street and 2nd Avenue. That was not a good place to raise a baby.
Some people do it very successfully. I think it takes a certain mindset. I have a friend who has raised 2 kids in New York City, and they're super savvy, and they've grown up with like their backyard is Central Park and the Natural History Museum. But I also see them, slogging through the snow with the stroller when the kids were little. It's tough, and you have to navigate like what school they're going to go to. It's not just like you go to the school down the street. It's right. It's an adventure.
I've been back in years. I got to get back one of these days, but God, they've closed down my favorite restaurant, the Gramercy Hotel. They've closed down. I mean, there's the deli's gone, the Carnegie Deli's gone, but that's been gone for years and years. But all those wonderful touch points that there were in New York City, hardly any of them are there anymore.
Yeah, we've had the same thing happen here in Los Angeles. I just think like the last few years have been tough with the pandemic, and then commercial rates on the rent just continued to rise, and people couldn't afford it anymore. And it's tough when you see those, especially when they're neighborhood staples and they've been there for so long. I mean, I went to NYU, so for me, the Village is my home, and to see a lot of those places gone, especially when you're a college student and they would get to know your name and you'd be there every morning buying your 50-cent bagel because that's all you could afford. And they still would be happy with your 50 cents no matter what. So
you still got Musso and Frank's, don't you?
We still have Musso and Frank's. I just was talking about that last night. We were talking about.
Oh, you were?
I was out to dinner with Bill, and we were just talking about certain restaurants that we missed that had closed down during the pandemic, and we said, "Oh, Musso and Frank's is still there. That's one of the traditional restaurants in Hollywood that still exists."
Well, you can find Capitol Records guys there back in the day because it's not very far from Capitol Records Tower, and. Well, one of my favorite things ever about going to Musso and Frank's is we were walking in. Rod Stewart was being let out by 2 guys because he was so hammered he couldn't walk. That's a nice touch.
It's still a scene. That's the great. Like, the food's okay, but you're there for like the atmosphere and the vibe and the company. It's really fun. And we were at a restaurant last night that had been. It's a newer restaurant, and we were asking our waiter like, what was here before? We totally forgot, and it had been a restaurant. And we were like, that's right, that had been there for decades, and that's where we got started on the conversation. So
my favorite thing about going, hey, look, Boston. I love Boston. North End and all the rest of it, but each city, whether it's Chicago or Boston, Philadelphia, New York, Los Angeles, you go down the list of all these places. I used to love San Francisco, but I don't think I could put up with the tent cities, being everywhere. I don't know. I used to love going to San Francisco, no question about it. But
you just don't go downtown. I mean, there's plenty of places to go and avoid it. So it's just, the media is focusing on one neighborhood. It's the same thing with Los Angeles. It's like one neighborhood in particular that's you just don't want to go to right now until they figure out a way to, humanely find housing for people. They keep spending money on it, but you're like, just let's clean this up so it's better for everybody.
Yeah. Now, are you going to stay in Los Angeles for Christmas? You're going to go back to Boston? What are you going to do?
Well, I don't have family in Boston. I mean, I have extended family, but my family all lives in Florida.
Big shots.
Yeah. My family's all in Florida now, but everyone's doing their own thing this year. So we're going to stay here, and I am going to rest and relax. It was a really busy year. So the thought of traveling across the country right now makes my skin crawl.
I understand that. I do understand that. No question about it. But yeah, you guys, you younger people on the show, get off your ass and get around this country. These cities in America are magnificent. I really have a hard time picking one that I just go, God, I'd never go there again. I mean, for now, I would avoid San Francisco because it would make me sad because I loved going there so much. Kath and I used to go every year.
Yeah.
But so it'd be a little hard to take right now because of all the tent cities and all that stuff. But America's one hell of a country. You go from city to city, and it's what we were talking about this morning, completely different as you go from city to city to city, which I love. I absolutely love that.
Yeah, I'm ready to get back to New Orleans. That's one of my favorite cities.
Oh, such a great city.
Mrs. B's. I'm telling you, ever be eating at the diner, Mrs. B's?
I have not. Is it good?
It's phenomenal.
The food, the atmosphere. There's a really beautiful like art gallery scene, and I have a couple friends that work down there in that arena, and it's amazing. I just love it there.
Well, I do too. And Tevin, how'd you get spend time down? Oh, well, yeah, that's right. You got family.
I've got family that lives down
That's
there,
right.
so it's always fun to go down and check it out because it's such a I feel like it's a more relaxed way of living, and it's such a festive and happening area. Some parts not the greatest, but overall would highly recommend going to New Orleans.
Well, I'll tell you, some of my favorite episodes of Cops are in New Orleans. There's no doubt about that. You can find people stirring the pot down there. I loved it. I thought it was a wonderful place to go. Okay, Tevin, a couple of people have recommended I watch a show called, what's it called? Obliterated?
Obliterated on Netflix.
What do you think, Kristyn? Obliterated.
I have not watched Obliterated yet.
Well, you had a kitty on your lap right
I
there.
just had a kitty. She's been in and out all morning. I don't know what's going on, but we got our Christmas tree yesterday, and they're just like all over the place. They're excited.
Oh, okay.
So tell me about Obliterated. I haven't watched it yet.
So it kind of gives like the boys or Gen V kind of vibe to it with some of their comedy and just the way that it's shot. But essentially it's an elite group of CIA type government secret agents that thwart a nuclear bomb attack in Las Vegas. They party, celebrate because, hey, we just saved the world. And as they're all high on drugs and blackout drunk, they get a call from their boss, and he's like, oh, that wasn't the bomb. We actually still have to go find it. And then they lie and say, yeah, we're sober enough to go find it. And then the whole, 8 episodes is them flying around Las Vegas while one of their teammates is passed out. They're like dragging him on an inflatable raft through the desert because he's passed out. And they're trying to essentially save Vegas from these terrorists. And it's very dark humor.
Okay.
A lot of like very, very similar to Gen V.
And I love the Gen V sort of satirical tone to it. I love that aspect of it. So,
yeah, no, I think you would like it.
Okay, I got to run this by you because this might be a problem because I made a mistake. It wasn't a mistake, but it was very, very difficult. I watched the first episode. I think it's a 4-part series called 11 Minutes. You know about 11 Minutes?
No, I haven't heard 11 Minutes.
Yeah, it's when the guy was up at Mandalay Bay and opened fire on a concert. I don't know if I'd tell you to watch it. It is really, it tears your heart out what this guy did.
That, I was still up because we were on the West Coast. So the time frame, I happened to be on Twitter and was watching it unfold live.
Oh, God.
And people were, uploading video, of course. And I said to my husband, I'm like, there seems to be like a shooting in Las Vegas. And then you started realizing with the amount of tweets, I was like, no, this is massive. And I had just worked at the Mandalay Bay maybe a month before. And I will never forget this. And it has nothing to do with the actual situation itself. But I just took a photo in that parking lot where it happened.
Oh, God.
Because it was such a beautiful, like it was sunset and like everything, that had that gold shimmer on the building. And I looked at that and I was like, gosh, that is just so eerie. But what a devastating event for so many people.
It was, you wouldn't believe, because it's real live footage. It's not just redone. It's not recreated. It's the actual footage because everybody had the phones out and everybody had the cameras and all the rest of it. And they kept showing, and you'd hear this pop, pop, pop like that. And then about 10 minutes later, you hear machine gun fire like there is no, and he must have fired, I don't know how many thousands of rounds he must have fired into that crowd. It was unbelievable.
And if I'm correct, they never really found like a reason as to why he did it.
Yeah, that's just going to ask you that because I don't think that, Andy, you agree they never did find a reason why he did it?
Yeah, there is no official cause or motive.
And there were a lot of weird mysteries. Like he had an ex-wife or an estranged wife. Like, I mean, they were just trying to like put the pieces together. And I just don't think that they were ever able to create like a thread. He didn't leave like a manifesto or something else like that. So what a lot of, mass shooters usually do, or they leave traces online of you can sort of piece things together.
Yeah. I mean, I don't remember because I've only watched part 1 and there's 3 more. I don't know. Maybe I can watch one a month and give myself 30 days to get over it.
What network is it on?
Netflix.
It's a Netflix. Okay.
Yeah, it's on Netflix. I shouldn't say for sure, but I'm pretty sure it was on Netflix. But it's just, there's one of the performers that appears on there. I don't know the guy. I don't know much about country music. Jason
Aldean. Jason Aldean.
This is not him, but another guy who appeared on the show. And he finds out later, because at first they thought it was coming from several locations because there's just so much rapid fire going on. They thought it was coming from 4 or 5 different locations. Then they zeroed in the fact it was from Mandalay Bay. And this performer finds out that his daughter and their baby, his wife and their baby are in the room right next to the guy. But they haven't revealed yet. I don't think they ever made it out of there. I don't
He
think.
didn't kill anyone in the hotel.
No.
Oh, didn't he?
No.
Are you sure about that, Andy? Because I didn't think he did.
Fairly certain.
Yeah, I think that would have been a huge story. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. But
And
they
11
have
minutes
blocked
is
off that room too.
Paramount Plus for the list.
Oh, it's on Paramount Plus. Okay,
Okay,
thank you. Thank you. I'm glad you pointed that out because I love Paramount Plus, by the way. They do a hell of a job. But, I hated to drag people down, but it will impact you. There's no question about that because it's all real footage. There's no phony redone footage. It's all real. And you cannot believe that some psychopath would even do something like that. Is that one thing that television has done for us now, that there's so much available and so much done that you're going to see things you don't really want to see?
Yeah.
Well, a lot of the docuseries, yeah. I mean, and unfortunately, these major mass shootings become compelling docuseries, unfortunately. And it's they're hard to watch, and it's also hard to look away. And I think that also sort of falls into that like true crime genre, which does so extremely well here in the US. It's just sometimes you're just like, I don't need to hear this story, but I can't stop listening to this story. But I feel like we haven't learned our lesson when it comes to mass shooters, because it does keep on happening. And it's always that like it's not if, it's when at this point.
Yeah, it's going to happen again. You're absolutely right. And have they ever discovered what drives people to do the mass shoot? You're going to massacre tens, hundreds, thousands of people you don't even know. What would drive somebody to do something like that?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I always think like you go back to Columbine and you look at that situation, because unfortunately, those two, was Dylan and Eric, those two have become unfortunately heroes to some of these mass shooters.
Really?
There's like some really strange hero worship that goes on with them and what they, I'm going to say this with air quotes, accomplished.
Yeah. Well, I agree with Whitney when she said that it's probably because their penis doesn't work. That's why they do it.
I said it was small.
You said it was small. And
Both.
doesn't work. Okay.
Oh God, you know what? It's like I can't even stomach that stuff.
Oh.
I used to be so calloused and handle all that stuff, and I don't know. Maybe it's the baby. Maybe it's just things in general. It's too much for me. But I can do cults. Like I'll do docuseries about cults.
I can do cults.
I have been on such a cult vibe. I just watched Mother God, which is like Love Has Won. Oh, Tom, it's a good one because
Mother God.
Yeah, the only person who dies, and this is not even a spoiler because it happens right away, you find out right away, is the leader, who is Mother God. So you don't feel that bad about it. I know like it's still a person and like it's sad that she dies, but like she was a woman who claims that she is God, and it blows my mind just the amount of people who are like, yep, I'm in. I would like to carry this alcoholic literally around because her legs quit working. And I'm like, I can't even get somebody to watch Go-Go like for free or casually. And here are these people carrying this woman around, and she's drinking all day, smoking out of vape pens all day, but she's Mother God. And Oh, I just love a good cult.
Yeah, Brittany, have you watched How to Become a Cult Leader on Netflix?
No.
Oh, you got to watch that. It's like
Really?
a 4-part series, and it kind of breaks down what cult leaders do to gain power and money and all of that. But it covers, I want to say 5 or 6 different cults, but it's very, very interesting. You got to check that out.
Kevin,
and then
you're the one who mentioned Twin Flame, and then I end up watching that Twin Flame.
Escaping Twin Flames on
Love
Netflix.
That was great. I heard the Prime one's better. Everyone's been telling me the Prime one is better, but that's another one, Tom, where this cult leader just was like honestly, they were the modern day cowboys of Zoom. They were using Zoom before 2020, and I think that is something that they need to brag about. But they used to have online meetings, and it was so wild that every day they have to sign on. It'd be like, Tom, if you had us sign on and then you were just telling us how to live our lives, and we were like, okay.
Sure.
So what's the name of it?
Escaping Twin Flames. There's a different one on Amazon I think is better.
Yeah.
But again, because I can't handle people being murdered lately, like this is my version of naughty, because nobody in Escaping Twin Flames dies, so that's
no.
And I think Keep Sweet, Pray and Obey is the Warren Jeffs one was also compelling on Netflix.
That was a hard one for me. I watched it. That was a hard one because there's child
yeah,
rape.
there's it's hard.
Yeah.
And child what?
Rape.
Child rape and child marriage and all that awful stuff.
I know. I'm sorry, but it's true. I just wanted to give that
trigger
warning
warning
to anybody out there.
Get
It's
away
like,
from me.
I'm sorry.
Kristyn, we had a
I bawled.
I bet.
Yeah, Chris, we had a listener messages over the weekend that was curious if there was, they want 2 things. They yelled at me because I didn't ask you about Gen V finale, if you've watched that yet.
I did finally.
Perfect. So we can talk about that. But then they also want to know if there was a murder update from your neighborhood.
Oh, yeah. The murder update. So here's the thing. They don't believe they are ever going to find the alleged murderers, mother and father-in-law. So he's been charged with the murder of his wife and then his mother and father-in-law. They found the wife's torso. That's it.
Jesus.
But they have not found the parents, and they haven't found their cars either, which is very strange. But they don't think that they're ever going to find his in-laws' bodies, because at this point they've probably been sent off to some, they were placed in probably a dumpster and then taken out to the dump, and they don't know where to look because he's not.
Where is it? What is the name of this?
This is a real life murder happening in the San Fernando Valley, and we talked about it. Yeah.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And his, and this is what's like crazy about the whole thing is that it's like they caught enough of it on Ring cameras, but the actual act of once he drove away, they don't really know what happened to the other two bodies.
Okay, there's going to be a problem today because Brittany and Alex are on together, but they're not in the same building, so they can't hang all over each other.
Hug.
Very sad.
An air hug.
What a disappointment.
Especially after everyone here is talking about murder, Alex. Like,
I know what murder.
We don't get to hold each other like we would like to.
Welcome to Murder Mondays. We're gonna kick your week off on the happiest note.
Oh, goody. Well, I was at a dance convention all weekend, so my brain's
like murder.
You probably want to murder someone after being at a convention all weekend.
Just sat in the hallway.
Somebody just sent me a text message going back to that thing we were talking about there, the cults and all that. There was a guy, that Nexium cult.
Yeah, that was a good one.
He tried to convince everyone that his IQ was 275.
Isn't Nexium like a diet pill?
It's a PPI,
PPI.
heartburn drug. Okay. Yep.
Nexium.
Also a cult. All right.
Also,
perfect.
But I didn't want to change the subject. I wanted to get that out, that he thought his IQ was 275. I believe the highest IQ ever rated was on a woman, and it was like 225.
Hell yeah. It was. Hell yeah, it was.
Yeah, this guy had the women branded too. That one was really disturbing. And that's
the Nexium guy.
Yeah, and they're really intelligent people. This one was, because it was like people that were really trying to brand themselves and kind of grow in marketing world. And they go to these conventions and they're like, I'm in. And
yeah, it was originally like a market yourself kind of thing. And then somehow it turned into a cult.
Really?
As things do, you know?
Yeah, it was like a success. It's like a self-help seminar kind of thing. And then it was like, hey,
So
come
you-
on
Listen.
over. My brand's in the oven.
Listen, I am
And it got a
married.
lot of play because Allison Mack, who
Yep.
was on, I think it was Smallville, she was a member
Oh,
of
yeah.
Next and was trying to recruit other actresses into the cult. It's crazy.
God, it's so amazing that people fall for that stuff.
Yeah, grown people sleeping in like the room on the floor of the leader's bedroom and like vying for those spots. One bad night of me sleeping on the floor, I'd be like, I'm out of this cult. I can't. I'm so
You told me
sorry.
to sleep on the floor. I'd be like, no, I'm good.
No, well, there
You know,
was a Minnesota cult that was based around karate, and the leader, yeah, I knew a guy. He was like, I almost got recruited into this cult. He's like, me and my son joined these karate classes.
Yeah.
And he was like, at one point, they wanted me to call the leader. I forget what his name was, but he was like, said that he was sent from, by God to defeat
Of course.
another god, and he was like, yeah, as you learn all these karate moves, at one point they're like, all right, well, now are you gonna like, you have to call this guy Jesus?
Are
And
you
he was
sure
like,
you weren't
"I'm
just
out."
watching Dragon Ball Z?
No, there was
Happened to me.
But to add to Tevin's point, this happens in Hollywood a lot around acting classes
Oh,
where
I
the acting teacher,
bet.
like God,
bet.
becomes a guru. And oftentimes it's a male acting teacher, winds up sleeping with a lot of his students. This happens more often than you would ever believe.
Yeah, I could see that happening in an improv class for sure because a lot of lost people end up in improv.
Chung Moo Kwan
Of
was
course.
the name of the person. And yeah, there's a guy, his name was Russell, that was in it, and he has a movie and like a book about it where he was into this cult for karate.
Tom, why does it seem like a Minnesota cult just isn't possible? I don't know what it is about Minnesotans. I just don't see us.
You can't be a passive aggressive cult.
That's
Just
true.
can't like
It's a very good point.
you're not good enough to be in this cult. I'm sorry.
A very, very good point. No question. Now we only got a couple more minutes with Kristyn, so I found something out, and I don't know if it's true, but I would have to guess that it is, because I used to I've always loved Henry Winkler. We've had him on a million times. He's the nicest guy in the world.
So sweet.
Just a very sweet, nice man. And another guy that I loved was Richard Belzer. He's no longer with us, unfortunately, but Richard used to come into studio once in a while. Loved him too. I never knew those guys were cousins. Did you know
I didn't
that?
know that either. No.
Andy, would you look that up? Because somebody sent me something that said that Richard Belzer and Henry Winkler were cousins. I had no idea that was the case. Do you think they maybe misspoke?
No, it's correct.
They were really cousins.
Wow.
Huh?
Yep.
I had
Sure.
no. You're talking about two guys, completely different kinds of. Tevin's got a look on his face like he found something.
Okay, sorry. This is not about what you're talking about, but I just typed in Minnesota cults. And
There's
then
a few.
Well, yeah. Well, one was let's see, it was a Minnesota cult. The leader called the girls brides of Christ, and that he
Cool.
was
Sure.
Christ. And
that a
he had to sacrifice. It was in Christian camp in Pine County, Minnesota. But I was like scanning through it, and they're taking a quote from this girl, and it starts out with, "I remember Barnard well." And so,
Uh-oh.
this-
Oh
yes.
no.
Oh, this is not good.
Okay, I do.
Why
Have to,
did you bring it up, Dad?
we do have to acknowledge that one thing that does hit Minnesota hard are MLMs.
Oh man.
Like
Utah's another one.
was
Yes,
gonna say Utah's
we
MLMs.
get those a lot, Tom, where like a friend of yours from high school will message me all of a sudden and be like, "Hey girl, I'm having a leggings party. Do you want to come?" And I'm like, "What do you mean a leggings party?" Like I have full availability to buy leggings, but it's kind of like the pampered chef parties, but they're
Tupperware
They're
parties.
pyramid
Yeah.
schemes.
yeah,
Are they all fake?
they're
Oh, they're
real,
pyramid
but
schemes?
they're a real ripoff. Like you pay like $100 to go buy one pair of leggings just because this person had appetizers there, and you feel peer pressured, and then you're all of a sudden selling leggings because you've decided like I'm a boss bitch who can make money while my kids take a nap. Like that's
in the upline. You got to be in the upline, and oh my gosh, it's a mess.
I have one close friend that was in an MLM for a long time, and
Yeah.
she would like try to get me in her MLM.
Of course she
and
did.
I
You're
had
a
to
big
pretend.
catch.
I had to pretend to be extremely cheap. I was like, you know what? I just don't
Can't
like
afford it.
spending money on anything. I can't afford it. I just can't. And like, we're still very close, but I still, whenever I'm with her, I'm like, I have to pretend I'm super cheap around her because that was my whole excuse to not join her MLM.
Who needs leggings when you have strips of burlap?
There you go. So what does
Exactly.
MLM stand for?
Multi-level marketing.
Oh, multi-level marketing. Okay.
Pyramid schemes.
Pyramid schemes.
Levels of the pyramid. Yeah, I guess Amway is a huge one in Utah and for like younger couples. And I know somebody that was in it. And I guess like the
doTERRA,
oh yeah, doTERRA is a big one. But I guess
Yeah.
like the person, like the top person at Amway has like diamonds encrusted in their floor of their house.
Sure.
Like they're loaded because they just all of these people. It's like young couples out of like just out of college. I guess they target them like intensely.
That's amazing.
I know.
All right, Kristyn has to go and take another nap.
That's right. I have no work to do. None.
You have nothing to do.
Nothing to do on a Monday.
We'll talk to
See
you
you all
tomorrow, sister. Thanks. We'll take a break. Be right back. Wrap things up. Here, this is the headline we're going to go after the break. You ready?
Oh God.
Listening to Taylor Swift can apparently save your life.
Brittany.
I never hear the word Taylor Swift again. It'll be too soon.
Andy, grow up.
I'm
Andy.
done. I'm no longer a Swiftie. I'm a Swift don't.
Swiftless.
I'm Swiftless.
We'll be right back. You're Losing Me by Taylor Swift can apparently save your life. We'll find out how that is next.
This is the Tom Barnard Show. Listen live on the Tom Barnard Show app or at tombernardshow.com.
Recently, Jim Paul of Valley Buick GMC was contacted by a company that does on-site sales. Jim was confused.
Wait, they don't know anything about us, our staff, our reputation, most importantly, our customers.
Hey, pal, no problem. We do them all over the country. You know, get the manager off the roof sale, inflatable gorilla sale, and our favorite, the 13-hour sale with a giant clock that goes to 13. Urgency, baby. We bring our crew because, well, your people are, let's just say, a little laid back.
And the pricing?
Nothing special, sport.
But Jim thought, we price competitively every day. Our prices are special. We definitely don't need these guys. But sale does convey some urgency, so we made a bold decision for his fine dealerships.
Announcing the Valley Buick GMC 365-day sale. And we can even extend it a couple years or so.
I got the air dancer guy, scratch-offs, plastic keys, bubble machine, box.
Valley Buick GMC in Apple Valley or Hastings or valleycardealers.com. Hurry.
Before you head back to one of the big box stores for your hunting and shooting needs this season, do yourself a favor and visit My Choice, K&L Surplus and Ammo in Lino Lakes. Not only does K&L have one of the widest selections of firearms and ammo in the Twin Cities, they also do business the right way. They want to make sure that you have the right firearm and the right ammo for your needs. Jim, the owner, has over 25 years of experience in the business and will help you find what you need at a fair price. Speaking of prices, a lot of stores are using inflation and supply shortages as an excuse to raise prices on ammunition. Not K&L. Jim's doing everything to hold the line on pricing so you can spend more time on the range. Find out for yourself why K&L Surplus and Ammo has been the choice of gun owners for over 25 years. Go in and chat with Jim in person at the store on Lake Drive in Lino Lakes or online at klgunstore.com. klgunstore.com.
Hello, I'm Brad Huckle, President and Chief Lending Officer at North American Banking Company.
And I'm Michael Bilski, CEO at North American Banking Company.
As a locally owned and operated community bank, we work with many multi-generational businesses.
Take Personal Care Dentistry of Roseville, for example. Dr. Walter Hunt, also known as Painless to me, has been a longtime customer of the bank since we opened the bank in 1998.
When his son Kyle was ready to join the practice, they wanted to expand quickly.
With their additional space and equipment, they now are able to see more patients each day while providing the same level of care and service.
Okay, guys, I'll take it from here. If you run a family business or any kind of business for that matter, you should be banking with Brad and Mike over at North American Banking Company. Every time I deal with them or their team, I know I'm working with experienced professional bankers. So why not bank with my banker? North American Banking Company, a better banking experience, member FDIC, equal housing lender. We'll do it. We'll get it done. No question. Ladies and gentlemen, Taylor Swift and Beyonce's music is good for the heart in more ways than one. Swift's You're Losing Me and Beyonce's Virgo's Groove both have the right tempo for hands-only CPR and could be heart-saving, according to recent tweets by the American Heart Association.
I don't know if a song called You're Losing Me is a great CPR
Okay,
song.
so-
though.
Well,
They used to say, so I used to teach CPR,
Staying
and there
alive,
was two
right?
Yeah.
for the military, yeah, and they used to say there's 2 songs that will save your life, and you use it if you're an optimist or a pessimist, and Another One Bites the Dust is the one you would use as a pessimist, and then Staying Alive is the one you use as an optimist.
Yeah, that's what they told me when we took an infant and child CPR class when I was pregnant with Fawn, and they were like, "Just sing Staying Alive." It's like,
That's
okay.
that's what they all say. It's about 100
Yeah.
BPM, which is
Yeah.
the ideal CPR dealie.
There's a lot of things like that you're told as kids that you just go into adulthood like, I'm probably gonna have to give somebody CPR. Or need to
stop, drop, and roll.
Stop, drop, and roll.
Stop, drop, and roll.
Yes.
Right.
That was 100%
The
one.
amount of times I thought that I would be on fire in my life and need to use that.
Oh yeah, we were
way
told
more
that.
than 0.
We must have been told it 100 times during our childhood. If you're ever on fire, it's like, have you ever even seen anyone on fire?
Andy,
before?
this is before
I have no-
vape pens exploding and phones exploding in people's pockets.
Yeah, that's
Or the toilet seat from
Oh
last
yeah, if
week,
your toilet seat ever sets you on fire, stop, drop, and roll,
Hoverboards exploding.
or just jump in the bath, I guess.
And I feel like even if I did start on fire, I would
Well, just
yeah,
how often
like,
are
I
you
wouldn't,
completely immolated head to toe?
I wouldn't think I need to stop, drop, and
Yeah.
roll right now. I would just be like, I'm going to take care of wherever the fire is.
Yeah, that's a
That
really good
Depends on the
point.
source of fire, I suppose.
It's like you have the verbalize thing memorized, but not the muscle memory. So in conclusion, we need to get children to actually stop, drop, and roll for the
I'm gonna
muscle
start
memory.
teaching on that.
Start spraying them
right
with
now.
red silly string. You're on fire. Stop, drop, and roll.
Oh my gosh. Well, we've done fire drills in our house, but it's like we don't, and they say don't just talk about it, actually do obviously we're not going to put the fire ladder out the window or anything, but it's like put an alarm on, make them get out of their bed, say it's the middle of the night, kind of thing. Cause they're just talking about it is not going to help them know what to do in this situation. It's like you have the muscle memory and the oh yes, I've done this before type of thing helps.
Do you guys have a fire ladder?
We had one.
We have a fire ladder in each of the kids' bedrooms.
Yeah, when we were kids, we had, because we were on the second floor, and it's like, what happens if the door, collapses or something? You're trapped in the room.
Because Sage is out of both of his windows. He's fully 2 stories up. There's nothing that you could jump onto.
No action
and
dive
so it's
out of the
this.
window.
It's this compact thing, and then when you put it out the window, you pull this tab, and it.
We had the daycare. I love our daycare, but the one thing they did, they sent us a message when Gogo was 8 months old. They're like, just want you to know, infant 2 room got out of the room in this much time. And I was like, well, you're picking them up. I don't know why you're patting yourself on the back.
You're like, you carried those kids just in time.
All right, that is going to do it for a Monday. We'll be back in just about 4 or 5 minutes, somewhere around there. The family show's up next.
Bye.
This is Bob Sansevier, and I want to tell you about Dave Bialki from Bialki Law. Dave represented my wife, Mary, when she had a significant workplace injury. She was very happy with the job Dave did. If you have a work-related injury and have Dave represent you, I'm betting you'll be happy too. Dave is a down-to-earth guy. He grew up in northern Minnesota, rides a Harley, and worked various jobs doing concrete, electrical, plumbing, roofing, and carpentry work. Dave works for people with work-related injuries. If you work construction, or anywhere for that matter, and you're hurt or even just hurting, you should talk to Dave. Let's face it, our bodies wear out. If your body is worn out from work, if your knees or back or shoulders hurt from things you do at work, do what Mary did. Call Dave and talk to him about it at Bialki Law to set up a free initial consultation. The number to call is 763-571-2410. That's 763-571-2410. Or visit bialkilaw.com. That's BIALKE law.com.
You need to know a guy for your auto repairs, legal issues, banking, and more. The same goes for investment advice. You need a guy to help you be successful, someone you can trust who gets results. Well, I got a guy for you, Josh Arnold. Josh gives you straight talk, not sugar-coated advice about your financial situation. Josh has seen it all when it comes to economic and market conditions, and Josh can make sure that your retirement objectives match your investments. Do yourself a favor and call Josh now for a no-obligation 48-minute evaluation. You've got nothing to lose, and you'll get a different point of view for your investments. Call Josh at 952-925-5608. That is 952-925-5608. You'll be glad that you did. And tell him his guy, Tom, sent you.
Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC, a security investment advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions are Josh Arnold's and do not constitute investment advice. Tom Barnard is a paid endorser.
Before you head back to one of the big box stores for your hunting and shooting needs this season, do yourself a favor and visit My Choice, K&L Surplus and Ammo in Lino Lakes. Not only does K&L have one of the widest selections of firearms and ammo in the Twin Cities, they also do business the right way. They want to make sure that you have the right firearm and the right ammo for your needs. Jim, the owner, has over 25 years of experience in the business and will help you find what you need at a fair price. Speaking of prices, a lot of stores are using inflation and supply shortages as an excuse to raise prices on ammunition. Not K&L. Jim's doing everything to hold the line on pricing so you can spend more time on the range. Find out for yourself why K&L Surplus and Ammo has been the choice of gun owners for over 25 years. Go in and chat with Jim in person at the store on Lake Drive in Lino Lakes or online at klgunstore.com. klgunstore.com.
Is that text you're sending so important that you missed your turn? Is that text you're sending so important that you ran the red light? Is that text you're sending so important you didn't see the ball coming onto the road or the child that followed? Hi, I'm Mike Bryant from Bradshaw and Bryant. When you take your eyes off the road for even 4 seconds, your vehicle travels 100 yards. That's the entire length of a football field. If you absolutely have to text, you need to pull off the road somewhere safe and do it from there. Texting and driving is against the law and can cause serious injury or even death to you and others. Now that is important. We hope you're never injured in a collision, but if you are, please contact us.
Find Bradshaw and Bryant, personal injury attorneys at minnesotapersonalinjury.com.
Going farther with Mike Bryant on your side, seeking justice for the injured. Bradshaw and Bryant.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen, with
Tevin Pittman,
Alex Rasmussen,
Andy Brett Bernard.
Hey, Kostaki Economopoulos.
Oh, you can barely hear him.
Kathryn Brandt is here too. Distant tunnel.
Can you hear me now? I'm here.
Not well.
Not really well.
Plugged in.
It sounds like you're talking into your built-in microphone.
What?
Yeah, I might have to change the settings.
Yeah, I think it's set to the wrong mic there.
Like if you click the gear wheel on your screen.
Hold on.
We like the gear wheel.
Oh yeah, you're right.
You guys are smart. There we go.
Oh, there it is.
Suddenly
Good
better.
job.
That's good.
Silver bells. I like the tree.
And
dogs.
He goes away.
Boycotting the show.
Definitely the wrong button. That one did not work.
Oops.
Oopsie.
How about now? Much better.
When you first started saying "how about," for some reason my brain thought you were going to say "cowabunga."
Have you been watching The Simpsons?
That's where I'm at. No,
Or the turtles.
I spent too much time in a hallway that felt like a casino.
That's true. Kostaki Economopoulos with us. How you doing, Kostaki?
I'm good. Sorry about that. I'm
Well, it
back. I'm
sounds
ready.
good. You got the Christmas tree, so you're forgiven.
Yeah, that's right, huh?
Love it.
We are the last people that will judge people because of technical difficulties.
Yeah.
The pot and kettle situation.
Sure would.
So what's going on, Kostaki?
Well, Florida State and Georgia are headed to the Pound Sand Bowl. I'm excited about that.
Pound Sand Bowl. I like that.
Where did we come up with that one now?
It's just, We're number 6. It's a frustrating situation.
So how are you feeling? Because you're a big Georgia.
I am a big Georgia fan. In fact, I'm right here. I've got the ticket to last year's national championship game. Look at that.
Oh God! Here we go.
That was glorious. If this is the end of the run, it was all worth it. It's been 3 fantastic years. So I think Seminole and Bulldog fans should celebrate Festivus this year. That's where you can air your grievances. It's nice.
Well, look, Kostaki, we understand how you feel because it was only a couple of years ago, 1961, when Minnesota won the national championship. That's a fact, by the way.
That
1961.
is kind of hard to believe it's been that long.
Yeah,
a long time.
Been a while.
In an area that's really into football. I can't remember the Gophers being a part of any serious conversation for national champion in my lifetime.
No. I was all of 9 years old. So what does that tell you?
Yeah, I know. So there's a lot of controversy about today's a big, all the radio shows are going bananas, the college football playoff. You know what I think they should do? Maybe next year have more teams in it. Maybe that would be good.
Sure.
Maybe next year we'll have more teams.
Well, yeah, they are going up to 12 next year. So
yes,
Minnesota still won't get in, but at least Georgia will have a chance.
And Georgia will probably be in the top 12. Yeah, and there'll be some of these TCU kind of teams that are always debated and sometimes don't get in, the Cincinnatis of the world. And so it will settle some of these things. So somehow the Bulldogs are mathematically eliminated from championship, but not the Falcons. The Falcons are 6-6, baby.
Yeah, baby.
We're number 16. We officially mediocre. Falcons coach Arthur Smith said Kyle Pitts is a big part of his offense. That reminds me of Princess Bride, right? Big. You keep saying that word. I do not think that word means what you think it means. Ladies, if Arthur tells you he's got a big surprise for you in his pants, think along the lines of 2 targets for 22 yards. That's kind of what you're.
I will.
That's what you're looking for.
I'll think about it.
That's exactly what I'll think of.
Exactly.
I don't know what that means.
Noted.
Good God.
There was a weather. Wait, where's Michael Bryant when the Patriots suck? Is it a coincidence he's not around so much this season? Is that
funny how that works?
We had a weather delay in Pittsburgh and a points delay in New England. Oof, this team is bad, man. Chargers beat the Patriots 6-0. If you watch that game, you got what you deserved. It's false advertising to claim that anything about that game was charged. That was forcing people to watch that might be unconstitutional. That's cruel and unusual punishment, right? 6-2 field goals.
God.
It turns out Belichick is a vampire that you can kill. It just takes 2 field goals.
I have a question for you. Is this solely because Brady's no longer there?
Well, it's certainly a part of it. That quarterback situation is very bad.
Yep, it is.
And the defense is actually playing pretty well. Listen to this. This is fascinating NFL history, as it were. First time in the Super Bowl era, a team has lost 3 straight games while allowing 10 or fewer points in each game.
Oh my God.
Right.
Really?
The last time, all right, this is fun. The last time this happened was in 1938 with the Cardinals. Any guess where the Cardinals were that year, Tom Barnard?
Let's see. We got St. Louis. We got Chicago. We got.
Oh.
Was it the Chicago Cardinals?
The Chicago Cardinals. I didn't even know there were Chicago Cardinals.
Oh, you didn't really?
I knew they moved around, but I didn't remember that version. No.
Well, it's like the Milwaukee Braves,
right?
For your team, same story.
Right. I think the Patriots were waiting to shoot until they saw the whites of their eyes. That's an old Patriot. They didn't. No, they never saw. Patriots can't. Even the Gettysburg Address opens with 4 scores, if I understand history, right?
No? I like it.
All right, that's a stretch.
No, I like it. I like it a lot.
The Cowboys-Seahawks game, there were no punts, or as the Patriots call that, fantasy football. Listen to the Patriots' 10 possessions. Oh, I wish Mike Bryant were here for this. Punt, fumble, punt, 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 punt.
Oh, God.
Turnover on downs. Those were their 10 possessions.
That's horrible.
It's so fun. I mean, Patriots haven't looked this bad since January 6th.
See?
I mean, even if you're on that team, they look bad that day.
They didn't win anything that day.
They did not win.
No yards were gained on that day.
Dolphins did a roller coaster celebration after Tyreek Hill's touchdown. Like Tyreek is tall enough to ride a roller coaster. That's the Patriots should do a free fall celebration. Was that a ride that you guys had when you were kids? There's the free fall.
Absolutely.
All right. Joe Flacco is now playing for the Browns. He looked good. I wonder if the Jets have ever heard of that guy. I would think if I were the Jets, I might have tried to. If you got drunk and woke up and saw Joe Flacco playing in a Browns jersey, you could think it's an alternative universe. Something weird's happening.
Sure.
He was a longtime Raven, Flacco. So a Browns jersey is kind of a throwback for him. It's kind of a throwback jersey. It was before they moved.
Of course. I just love how you tail off. Just tail off.
Yeah, it's maybe not the best way to do comedy is just sort of shrug and almost apologetically.
Yeah.
The Colts had 2 blocked punts in one game, but they can't block Jim Irsay's mouth. Oh
my God. He back on Irsay. I love the fact you brought up Irsay again.
Irsay's is a character, man.
What was the quote again?
What was his quote? Well, he said, I believe the quote was that he got a DUI because of police prejudice against rich white billionaires.
I love that.
That oppressed
billionaire
minority
part is probably true.
It might be. Yeah, that's true.
I would imagine the average cop has probably got a bit of a grudge against the average billionaire, like most people do.
Yeah, but he's a celebrity in the town. It was Carmel, Indiana. He was
Right.
on his home turf. They know he owns the Colts. I don't know. It's he was stumbling around on prescription drugs. He blamed his hip. The whole story is insane. They should send in a special teams unit when Irsay has a press conference. Get the punt block team and get in there.
I like it.
So we know Pat McAfee is a huge Colts fan, and he's all about, for the brand. He's about the punting and the kicking, right? So when the Colts block a punt, is Pat McAfee happy about that, or is he sad? It's right. His team. It's good for the team. It's bad for the punter. Where does he fall in this? We got to call Pat McAfee. Get him to weigh in.
How do you feel? Did you see him on ESPN when he got everybody to sing the Georgia Bulldog
I did see that
song before picking Alabama? It was brilliant.
Yeah. And you could hear Herb Street like cackling, like gut laughing at the
Yeah.
It was well done. It's a McAfee moment. He created something out of nothing. That's how he does. And no, I loved it. And because he's earnestly loved Athens when he was there recently and did the whole chant with the Athens fans. And so it was, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with the old switcheroo. Deshaun Watson is questionable. He's definitely not playing. He just wanted to remind everybody that he's questionable.
Across the board?
Yeah.
Okay.
Also on that team, Browns wide receiver Michael Woods has missed the season because of an injury. He was just suspended for the rest of the year for violating the personal conduct policy. You got to hand it to this kid. He hasn't even played, and he's on the same page with his quarterback. I mean, that's really nice.
What did he do?
It's unclear. They didn't release it. It's a violation of the personal conduct policy.
Oh, God. Can't be good.
It could have been, a couple of the top favorites the NFL players seem to enjoy, the DUIs and the beating up the girlfriend. That seems to be top 5. Yeah. Who knows? It wasn't performance enhancing. That's a different category. So I don't know. Did some dumb thing.
Never did understand that punching a woman.
Yeah.
Where's the great thrill in punching a woman who can't fight back? That makes no sense. It's just,
I'm with you.
What?
I agree with you, of course. I agree with you, but having been with some women who are screaming at you, I'm just saying I see how it happens. That's all I'm saying.
Right. Kathryn's giving you the dirty look. That's all I know.
Of course. Punching a woman is horrific and terrible, and you should never do it.
Punching anybody.
But I'm thinking of Chris Rock. But I understand. I'm not saying he should have killed her, but I understand.
But I understand. Yeah, it was O.J. Simpson he said that about, wasn't it?
Right. Yeah.
It was O.J. he was talking about.
One of his great bits.
That's terrible.
All right, here's a movie idea elevator pitch. It's Ocean's 11 meets Home Alone, right? It's a fun mission comedy. It's like a buddy comedy. They're on a mission together. Two frustrated Browns fans stumble onto the obscure fact that Deshaun Watson's contract is fully guaranteed as long as he's alive. And they realize they have to off him to save the franchise. And it's called Killing Deshaun. That's my
I like it. I like it. Well, you gotta save the franchise, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, you gotta. What are you gonna do?
The title just cuts right to the point. Just Killing Deshaun.
That's great.
You know why we're here.
Bad news: Steelers lost their quarterback. Good news: it's Kenny Pickett. That's fine. What did he injure? His interception thrower or his sack taking legs?
How long do you work on a line like that? That's what I want to know.
Believe it or not, hours, Tom. That's the saddest part of this whole process.
To come up with that.
Hours. It was raining in Pittsburgh, and Tampa said, "Hold my beer." You guys know the Florida rain is serious business. Tank Dell broke his fibula. His name's Nathaniel Dell. He goes by Tank. He's just downgraded to Jeep.
Oh, God. Working really hard over the weekend.
All right.
Brian Miller must have been working hard over there.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Let's close on this one. Word is Roger Goodell wants to ban the tush push. I get it. Tush pushing was only allowed in my marriage the first couple of years, too. So.
Wow, you need therapy.
He does. He really do. Even the Christmas tree has moved away from you. Have you noticed that?
That's what you want as you close the segment. You need therapy.
You need therapy. All right,
Totally
Pally.
fair.
We only got a couple more visits from you before Christmas. You believe that?
Yep. That's true. When are you guys off? Are you off that the Christmas week?
Yeah.
What's your schedule?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm around. Let's talk. We had no Vikings to talk about this week, so that's
thank God.
The only problem with that week is we're going to be off, obviously, on the Monday because that's New Year's Day.
Oh, that's right. Oh, we got it.
Yeah, 25th and 1st. Yeah.
The way Mondays fall is bad for the segment this year. All right, we'll figure it out. We'll take a look at the calendar.
That'd be great. You can hop on anyway. What the hell's the difference?
What the hell's the difference? All right.
Do it on the 2nd.
All right. We'll talk.
All right, Pally. We'll talk to you next week. I know that.
Yes, we'll do that. Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
Bye.
Kostaki Economopoulos. That's all I know. What?
He's something else.
Oh, he's a piece of work. There's no question about that. No doubt about that. So what's the latest with everybody?
The latest.
I don't know.
Yeah, Nana, what's the latest?
Nana? What? Well, I continue to be chopped liver to Ethan, the 2-year-old.
Dad already talked about that.
We already brought that up.
I just love that. He'll acknowledge me and look at me. He'll wave, but as soon as he sees Tom,
Okay,
Mom, thing in the whole wide world is Tom.
At least he doesn't look at you like you've killed his whole family. That's how he looks at me.
Like you did what?
Like I've killed his whole family. He looks at me like
at you that
I
way?
think he's over that a little bit. He was really like Alex really freaked him out for a
Really?
very long time.
This is how
I
he
wonder
looks.
why.
I don't know, because kids are weird.
Andy, you have any take?
You never know.
Melissa says it's because one time he woke up from a nap and I took him out of the pack and play.
Oh, he's holding a grudge.
That's a grudge.
Doesn't bode well for your future.
I helped you go out to your family, and then you're mad at me for years. And you're a baby. I don't understand how that
Got a
makes
lot
sense.
of German in him. Makes sense.
I love that. He's mad at me for years and he's only 2.
Yeah, exactly. Like all of the years of your life, you have held this
All of
grudge
the years.
because I helped you once. I'm sorry.
100% of his life.
Did,
Yeah, I will
did
never
anybody
help him
watch
again.
Everybody Loves Raymond?
Back in the day, you mean?
Yeah, a long time
We
ago.
watched that randomly when we were in Duluth because we were like, let's just see what's on
was a
TV.
good
And
show.
the kids, for some reason, were like, let's watch this show. And it was Everybody Loves Raymond.
It was good.
It was a fun show. Anyway, there was an uncle that every time he saw Raymond's brother or anybody, the grandkids, he never cared. But as soon as he saw Raymond, it's like, ha ha, Raymond! And I'm like, that
Same
is
story.
just like Ethan.
That's Ethan now.
Yes.
No doubt about it.
Yeah. Yep.
So looking at the stuff, most of the news now is too
Yeah.
negative. Just is.
Oh.
Don't you think?
It's
Yeah.
Did you talk about the terrible Christmas story that no, it wasn't terrible. We watched a movie.
Wasn't terrible.
What was it called?
Christmas story.
Christmas jerk. Christmas with jerks.
Christmas with
Well,
jerks.
yeah, that sounds terrible.
Yeah.
What?
No, it wasn't about that. It was about a woman that was a child star on a movie about Christmas that was called Christmas with the Jerks or
Oh,
Christmas
okay.
Jerks or something like that. And now she's all grown up, and it was actually pretty funny. And whoever the woman is, I recognized her, but I don't know her name.
Yes, it's called Christmas with Jerks.
Christmas with Jerks. It was. What did it cost to produce? It was the cheapest.
It was.
They
very
weren't
cheap
even
to
mic'd.
produce.
They weren't even mic'd properly.
That's true.
It was actually kind of funny. I think the writers did a good job, and I
Yeah,
think
that's
some
all
of the
right.
actors were really good. But the production value was really bad. So if you
I don't have any information about this at all.
oh really
Really?
was it a
Yeah.
Netflix? Who did it?
I have no idea.
It's just on Tubi, it looks like.
No, we didn't watch that. Too. Christmas.
What does
with
IMDb say?
There's
I
a
don't
lot
know,
of
it's on Prime Video as well.
There's a
Oh.
lot of stuff on Tubi that's like that. Where you're like, did you guys even have microphones when you recorded?
Oh really?
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's when Tubi first came out. That's like I feel like anytime Kristyn would come on and say like, "Oh, you got to watch it on Tubi," I was like, everything I've heard about Tubi is that it's like filmed with your iPhone.
Yep. There was a lot of that for a long time.
Yeah, there was in the very beginning of the movie. I was like, uh-oh, because she was talking to a friend on her iPhone, like FaceTime,
Mm-hmm.
and it was mic'd like that.
Yeah.
Like it was so bad. I mean,
It wasn't bad. It was.
I mean, as far as production goes,
yeah, production was terrible.
yeah, I think if they would have if they did a better job with production, it could have been a decent movie.
Both the people in it were good. There were only 2 people in it
Yeah, yeah.
There
Yeah, I
were
thought
only
they were-
2 people in it.
in the whole movie.
Well,
People pop in for like
well,
30
they went
seconds.
to a party. There were a few people.
Yeah.
here and
Yeah, I was
there.
like, this whole
I was like,
movie
this
had
is-
2 people in it the whole time. That
Well,
sounds
99% of it was just the 2 of them. That is true.
It was actually pretty funny. They were like stuck in a house together, like a mistake happened, and they were
Mhm.
like giving each other super colon cleanse, so they could. One of them would leave. It was funny.
I don't want to watch it. I think I'm gonna go home.
I'm gonna pass.
It's only an hour and 20 minutes long, so that's good.
Only so many hours in my
You had to have been there.
that needs to be involved in
Right.
any of them.
So I learned something new this weekend that I'm kind of ashamed to admit. You're familiar with Home Alone, the movie?
Yeah.
Sure.
And you're familiar. So Macaulay Culkin got a star on the Walk of Fame, I guess.
Oh
Yep.
yeah, Hollywood.
Yep.
And so
I
I
feel
saw
like I know what you're gonna say.
I saw a photo of him receiving
Yeah.
his star, whatever. On
Yep.
the bottom, it was like, so it's 2 parts. Bottom half, it was a picture of him with the mom from Home Alone.
Oh,
Top half.
Kathleen Turner.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Turner?
Yep, that's her.
No, her name is not Kathleen.
No, it's like
Turner.
Catherine something.
Oh
or
my
something
God,
like that.
Catherine O'Hara.
There we go.
O'Hara.
There you go, Catherine.
Kathleen
Yep.
Turner.
Kathleen
Her name is
Turner.
literally your name, Catherine.
But then
Sorry.
the top half of the picture is Macaulay Culkin today with this lady like holding his cheeks, giving him a celebration. And I was like, oh, that looks like Moira from Schitt's Creek.
It's the same person.
I never realized that it's the
Yep.
same person.
I feel like you
It
and
is.
Sam must have seen the same image because on Saturday or something, he's like, how am I just finding out
Right.
that Catherine O'Hara was the mom from Home Alone? I'm like,
In my
know.
defense,
Like-
I've only seen her in 2 things, which is both of those movies, which
Yeah.
are 40 years
many
apart,
years
TV
apart.
shows.
And she's a very different character in
Yes.
those two things.
But my mind was blown. But you apparently were aware of this the whole time.
Yes.
Wow. Well,
Well, she was terrific on SCTV. That's where she came from.
Yeah, that's
She was on Second City Television up in Canada.
That's before.
Yeah, wasn't that like their version of SNL or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was much better
It was
actually than
actually,
SNL.
it was very funny.
It was very, very good. It had a lot of really good people
Yeah,
on it.
she's
too.
hilarious.
I feel like a lot of people came to this conclusion because of this picture. Because Dan was like, he's never seen Schitt's Creek. He's
Mhm.
only seen me watch it, but he like knows who Kathryn O'Hara is from other things. And he was like, I had no clue. It's like,
Really?
that's her. Yep.
You know what I love about Schitt's Creek so much is all of the clothing that Kathryn O'Hara has.
And the wigs.
The many wigs.
Did you know that Alexis only says you, David, one time?
No way.
Mhm.
Alexis, what?
So like there's a whole thing of like Alexis, there's like shirts and hats and stuff that say you, David, because they're like, oh, that's like her catchphrase in Schitt's Creek.
Yep.
Schitt's Creek, and she was being interviewed by somebody, and she's like, I actually only say it once in the whole. She's like, I say like gross, David, ugh, David, stop, David, all that, but she's like, for some reason, you, David, was the one that stuck, and I was like, that's interesting, and I will never forget the fact that you guys think that I act like her. I didn't watch. No, Alexis. Yes, Kathryn O'Hara. Yes, Dad, Kathryn O'Hara.
Dad, did you have a
wig?
That show is so brilliant. Everybody
It
just
is.
fits with the show, and it's like this chaotic family, but it's just perfect.
It's amazing.
Yeah, I remember when we first started watching it, we were like, this is a strange concept.
Yeah.
Sure is.
Mm-hmm.
But it just grows on you.
And it's one of those that I was going to say, every single person that starts it, they're like, I don't get it. I don't like it. And it's like, you have to stick with it. You just, for some reason, and it's not like anything spectacular happens, but you just end up loving everybody. And you're like, this show's great. And you don't really even know why you love it so much.
I had
all of a sudden.
I had never watched it until I was working at Union, and they would do drag brunches, and they did a Schitt's Creek themed drag brunch.
Gosh,
and
why did I not know that was a thing?
everybody went crazy, and I was like, "What is this show that is obviously so popular?" And like, so then I started watching it, and it's like, "Yeah, this is 10 out of 10."
It's fantastic. It's just like everybody's nice and funny, and there's no like people being obnoxious. I mean, like funny obnoxious, not just obnoxious to be obnoxious.
Yeah. And then there's the shows like Virgin River that are just trash that I love so much. And I will never stop
Have
watching.
you watched the holiday episodes that just came out?
No.
There's two of them, and they are a whole new level of just, you've got to be kidding me. This is so stupid.
What is Virgin River?
So
it's a
this
very cheesy show.
It's like kind of soap opera-y, like rom-com soap opera combo. It's this nurse has these traumatic events happen in LA, and then she moves to this tiny town called Virgin River that's just like beautiful, but everybody is in everybody's
Northern
business.
California.
Yeah. And
beautiful area.
very pretty, but like the things that happen and the acting, and you're just like, who writes this? And like, do the people in the show know that this is extremely ridiculous, or are they something they're like, we are making art? Like, I don't know.
So what is it? Virgin River.
It's called Virgin River. You would hate it,
I'd
most
hate it,
likely.
okay.
I think you'd hate it.
100%.
Although, everybody's nice to each other.
Except for like all of a sudden there's everybody's getting murdered and like
not
out of the blue. Well, that's true. There's that whole thing. No,
I was on the treadmill and I just watched. I don't know how many episodes there are in this year, but there's always a tragedy that the town and the people have to overcome.
And it's like every episode ends on like a huge cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Every single one. And it's so bad.
But I would like to live there because it is so beautiful.
I'd live in Virginia.
Nothing but forests and mountains and streams. And it's like, oh my God, this is so beautiful here.
You do constantly have to worry about dying for some reason, though.
Yeah.
So it's a drama, flat out drama.
Yes, I would call it a drama.
Not a lot of humor.
Nah, not really.
There's a little comedic break once in a while, but no, you wouldn't call it a comedy. No, it's a soap opera.
It's a soap opera.
Yeah.
And it's on Netflix, and it's just there's 2 new holiday episodes that came out, and they are wow.
It is so perfect for being on the treadmill. I can't even tell.
I watch it when I'm like folding laundry, or like I just want to. Dan fell asleep with one of the kids, and I'm just in my living room by myself, and I'm like, I'll just watch this stupid thing because what else am I gonna do?
And all the men are supportive, attractive, and nice, but with a little bit of a manly edge. They're just
they're
perfect men.
They're like blue collar, like all of them, like super ripped, like super nice dudes. Oh my god!
What is this show about? What
I'm so confused.
Like what? The
I
hell
mean,
are you talking?
Mom, that's a great question. What is the show about? Like, there's really no.
About a community with a lot of subplots, with a lot of
Pretty much.
drama.
Like, there's nothing. I mean, there's the main character, and then she falls in love with somebody, and it's like it's their relationship. But then there's also like 16 other characters, and they've got stuff going on, and it's really just a wild show.
And it's on where?
Netflix.
Netflix. Another Netflix.
I don't know, 3 or 4 seasons. I think it is in.
Andy, you ever seen Virgin River?
No, and you never will.
No, I have not, and I probably never will.
Don't watch it. It's so bad.
It's not a bad show. It's just
It is a
not.
bad show.
It's just a soap opera.
Like, okay, so it's the opposite of the movie that you just described. The production is great.
Right.
Like everything, like the scenes are really beautiful. The acting really isn't that bad. Every once in a while, though, it's like this was a straight up soap opera, like bum bum bum, and then there's a guy like, like with zoom in, and you're just like, what the?
Oh yeah, we
hell
watched
was
The Good
that?
Witch, and it has a lot of moments like that.
Yeah,
where it's
and it's
like,
just like,
the pause for like
what?
5 seconds
Yes.
before a commercial break. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
we get it.
But
It's dramatic.
this show, the production's really good, and the acting's actually pretty good, but the plot points are just so over the top. And they come out of nowhere. Like, everybody's just like getting ready for the fall festival, and then all of a sudden, like 20 people have been shot and 7 things are on fire. And you're like, what? What is going on?
Or you go camping over the weekend and forget to put out the fire, and then all of a sudden the entire place is
That wasn't
burning
them.
down.
They did put out their fire. It was
Oh,
something-
I didn't know that.
Yes. No, it was in that episode. She was like, "Did you put out the fire?" And he said, "Yes." And then she was like, "Where is that from?" And he said, "Virgin River."
Oh, I thought there was a question if he burned down the
No,
town or not.
no,
Okay.
there is no question of him burning down. You would have
That
paid
kind of thing.
attention. You have
That's
to
the kind of thing.
Keep up, Mom.
Keep up. All right.
We'll keep up, no question. Okay, now that we heard all about Virgin River.
Sure have.
Hey,
Like, my
anybody that
God.
listens to the
love
show
it.
that has seen it, which it's a very popular show, everybody's all like, "Yeah, that's."
Why we had quite the feedback email about the Wetterling episode.
Oh, you did really?
Yeah, from Margaret, Tom, and all who were part of Friday's Family Podcast. I just watched the interview with Patty and Joy, and it was amazing. I've seen and heard countless interviews with Patty over the years, but this was by far the best.
Oh.
I learned so much that I hadn't heard before, and it was obvious that she felt comfortable with you guys. I realized this was the first time I'd ever heard Patty genuinely laugh, and it was great to see that side of her.
Yep.
I cried through most of the interview, but it was so
Oh.
good to see her
Well, so did we.
from the heart. Great work.
Thank you. Very, very kind. So we get a lot of response on that.
Apparently we are.
Good.
I tell you, Patty's been just, and I will just say it again if you haven't, so they can watch the episode as well as listen to it, right?
Yeah. Yep. And we have just the Patty segment is cut out and is uploading to YouTube, so they can check it out on the YouTube page as well.
Oh, good.
So I'm glad to hear that. So that's
yeah.
that 45 minutes or whatever.
After talking to her, and she had mentioned that she was involved with the Center for Missing and Exploited Children.
Mhm.
And I mean, I didn't want to get into it because it's just so
Oh,
disturbing. I mean, right now, I think trafficking of children is maybe the worst it's ever been in United
America.
States history.
It is, yes.
And
Yep.
nobody's doing really much about it. It just, for her to come from having her child taken like that and not knowing what happened to him for so many years, and then to still work in that climate, she's got to be just the strongest person I've ever heard.
Yep. So I said what I said. I was asked, who's the toughest guy you ever knew? And I said, it wasn't a guy, it was Patty Wetterling.
Yep.
She got through that and her husband got through it. I don't know how the hell they did it. And then they find him all those years later. And here it is again, right in your face.
Yep.
Oh, God.
Well, on that note, I'm going to get going.
Yeah.
I have to go be about a bunch of children. So I'll just keep them safe and keep
Andy,
them all
I'm really
home with me and make sure nothing bad ever happens to any of them.
That's a good idea. No
See you
question
tomorrow.
about it. No, I'm glad you brought that up, though, Andy, because that was the most difficult, I think, episode that I've ever done. Sitting across from Patty Wetterling and Joy, of course, the woman who wrote the book with her. They did an appearance Friday night, as a matter of fact. Hopefully that went well. But again, watch it, because if you think these people that are pissed off at the world and everybody's angry and everybody's mean and everybody's hateful, watch something like that. You have nothing to be pissed off about. Here is a woman doesn't show any anger. She lost her baby boy all those years ago. She is one of the greatest people I've ever met. Very strong, very tough, but a sweetheart too. She's just a darling woman. She really is. So if you get a chance, it's you said you can go on YouTube. Where else can they catch the episode, Andy?
Well, Joe just let me know that he posted it on the unofficial Tom Barnard Morning Show fan group on Facebook.
Oh, that's very nice, Joe. Thank you.
As well as, I assume, the official one. But
yeah.
I don't manage that, so I don't know. So yeah, basically anywhere we have a presence, it's there.
I'm glad to hear that, because like I said, it just and I mean, the amazing thing about that is you're sitting in this room and you're thinking about your own family and what you would have done had that happened to you. And I literally, and I told Patty this, I think it was off mic and off camera though. I said, I swear to God, I'd have to kill him. I would have to.
Oh, I 100% would.
No doubt about it.
Yeah, tell you that right now, he'd be dead.
Yep. So moving on,
we have Wendy on the phone.
Wendy on the phone.
Good morning. Yeah, Patty Wetterling interview, top notch all the way. She's like one of the strongest women I've ever seen.
Oh,
I adore her.
Yep.
But on some later stuff, yes, I used to watch Virgin River, and
she's back on Virgin River.
My husband got me watching it. I'd never heard of it. He's like, "Yeah, you got to watch this," and I'm like, "What are you watching this for?" And he goes, "I don't know. It's kind of interesting." I'm like, well, "Okay." So then I had to quit watching it after the first few seasons, and go back to Discovery Plus and watch my murder documentaries to cleanse my palate. Ugh. I just
Too saccharine for you?
a little bit, and it's like, I'm watching it, and I'm like, okay, yeah, this happens a lot. I have a tiny town, the doctor's gone. It's the typical romance novel trope. Except you have a bunch of biker gang illegal marijuana growers on the mountainside, and
so it's very realistic.
Well, yeah, that happens in our backyard all the time. But yeah, I don't know. The cheese factor just got to be too much for me. It's like, come on, what can I watch to really kind of bring it back home? So, I started watching the Holzer Files again on Discovery Channel or Discovery Plus. Just something to, something not be so gooey.
Yeah, too gooey.
I don't know. Every once in a while, I love that stupid show Nashville too. It's totally the same kind of show. It's another. It hasn't been on in quite a few years.
Oh, okay.
Same thing, except for it was about singers in Nashville and all the trials and tribulations of their relationships and the music industry, and it was terrible. But I love that stuff. I like a schmaltzy show. It's nice to have a nice schmaltzy show.
And I don't get into a lot of those. It's like every once in a while, for some reason, one will kind of be like, "Hey, watch me," and I'll be like, "Oh, okay." But like, I was among the people not watching This Is Us. it just held no appeal for me.
I didn't get into that one either. Alex loved that show, and I tried
Which
and I
one's this now?
tried. This is Us.
Oh, This Is Us.
Everybody watched that one. That one I couldn't get into. I don't know why.
So, Tevin, do you think these women should watch Obliterated?
Kathryn should not watch Obliterated. Actually, I would love for Kathryn to watch Obliterated, but like with a camera so we can see her reaction. Because
She can do one of those like Twitch live reaction videos. There you go.
There's a lot of male genitalia unnecessarily shown and a lot of humor and
I mean, is there a reason?
No, other than just shock factor, not really. Like there's one scene where somebody's being tortured and the torture device goes up a certain hole and is supposed to, it's just all. There's a couple of scenes that I was like, this is a little much, but
I'll take my schmaltz.
Yeah.
I'll pass on that one. Thank you.
Yeah.
No, Obliterated.
There are actually 2 shows on NBC that they must have. They were in the can, obviously, before the strike, and they've been showing them. So, new episodes. I've been watching them, and they're really actually good shows. One is called The Irrational with Jesse Tyler Martin, and the other one is called Found. And both, if you haven't watched them, give them a shot. They're really good shows.
Have not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you should, because Found is about this woman that runs a foundation where she finds missing. I think it's kind of focused to like missing people, missing children or missing people that are people of color or what have you. The ones that don't make the news. But I mean, if you can just kind of, override your politics and put that aside, her backstory is that she was kidnapped when she was like 12 by this guy, not James Vanderbeek, but one of the guys from back then, I can't remember his name, but he kidnapped her and held her for over a year, and she escaped from him. But when she was older, she found him and she kidnapped him, and he's locked in her basement and chained up in a cage, and he helps her find these people because he has to think like she's getting his view on how the kidnapper would think of it. It's really good.
And it was called what?
It was called Found. And the other one is called, The Irrational with Jesse Tyler Martin. He plays a professor of psychology at a college, and he was involved in an incident where someone bombed a building on his campus, and he was injured, and he was supposedly the only one that saw the person, but he can't remember. And so he helps the police on like psychology stuff, but he's really good. I mean, those 2 I highly recommend.
Okay.
See, we love picking up on it. You know what I tried to do, and I remembered that I bought the DVDs a while back. Why isn't the original Untouchables on any channel? I mean, you've got 6,000 channels, and the original Elliot Ness Untouchables with Robert Stack, you can't find that anywhere on television. I wonder why that is.
Somebody's maybe holding the rights to it, maybe?
Yeah, that's usually what it is.
So why wouldn't they want that on television to make money off it?
I don't know. Oh, Mark Paul Gosselaar. That's who's in Found.
Oh, okay.
It came into my head. Yeah, and phenomenal. Both he and the lead character, phenomenal. It's a no miss. I love it.
We have a suggestion from D Hart. He specifically wants to know if Tevin has seen The Pentaverate.
I have not.
It's a miniseries by Mike Myers where he plays like 8 different characters, of course.
Oh, I liked him.
Yep.
Pentaverate?
The Pentaverate.
Why? Because no one else had worked with him?
That might be it, actually. You might be right about that.
I'm off to check it out.
Yeah, there you go.
Pentaverate, and where do you find that?
Looks like it's on Netflix.
Everything's on Netflix.
Everything is on Netflix, yes.
That is true.
Brittany was talking about, cult shows. There's one that's been running on A&E for the last few years. If you haven't seen it and you have A&E, God, watch it. It's called Cults in the Extreme Belief, where they look at the 8 different cults, and then they have 2 episodes at the end to like bring the people together from those episodes and wind it up. Probably, well, you know how my viewing tastes run. It's probably one of the best cult-driven shows that I've ever seen. Because it really gets into it doesn't just skirt across the top. These people, the people that are on it, are people that were in it, and they really talk. They're very open about what happened, and a lot of them are really struggling, really seriously. But they have a psychologist that helps them, and the shows are amazing. You really find out what these people are about.
No, was Leah Remini on that show?
No, hers was about Scientology. Cults in the Extreme Belief had like Nexium and Children of God and a few, like 6 other ones on it, and they're really powerful documentaries on them.
What's really sad about that is that people are drawn to cults only because they're so miserable in their regular lives. It's too bad. I mean, you get so miserable. The only peace you think you can find is some cult.
Well, I mean, they don't usually know it's a cult going into it is the thing.
Yeah. Well, probably. Yeah.
They're not like, I'm going to join a cult today.
They started with love bombing. So, I mean, if you've had or you're in a place where you feel like there's no one that you can rely on, no one loves you, whatever, they take advantage of that and they just start love bombing the crap out of you. It's like, oh, we love you. They make you feel good. And they make you feel like they're like Kevin suggested, I watched the So You Want to Be a Cult Leader documentary, and that was on there. But yeah, that's a good show. If people haven't seen that, that's a good show.
Why do you think people need that? Because basically it's a form of religion, only the God is a living person that thinks they're God or something. Isn't that pretty much what it is?
Generally.
Yeah, but I think pretty much when you dig down into it, it's people that join cults like that are people that they're just out of sorts with the rest of the world. They maybe have something bad happen to them in their past. They're looking for people to care about them and to love them. And cult leaders know how to access that. And they love bomb them. They bring them in. They're like, we are the only people that love you. No, your family doesn't love you. No one else can love you. And it's scarier than crap, because there's some people that if you're needy enough, that's what, you'll succumb to that really quickly. And then suddenly all your money's gone. Or, if you're a parent, like your children and your child is being love bombed like this, it's something terrible happened for them to break you down and make you back up.
I don't know percentages on this, but is there a percentage of American marriages and how long they last?
I don't know. I've been with my husband 38 and a half years. So
Kathryn and I have been together 43 years, been married 40 years this coming July.
It depends on how so the average marriage lasts 7 to 8 years.
Really?
But that includes like second and third marriages, which historically I believe last a lot shorter.
Yeah.
So I wonder if I put in first marriage, I wonder if that makes it if I can even find that information. Oh, here we go. Median duration of marriage in a first marriage is 21 years.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Second, third, etc. marriages tend not to last very long, it seems.
In my experience, if you want to be married a long time and you don't have communication, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
And why don't they? Does anybody know why they don't communicate?
Because it's easier not to until you have to until you get to that point where you explode. People see things on TV where marriages, you think they're supposed to be perfect. I mean, back in the 60s, 70s or whatever. Because, look at the examples you had. You had like Ricky and Lucy and the Brady Bunch and all that stuff. And you expect that going into a marriage, things are going to work. And the other thing I think that leads to a problem is that there's a lot of couples that I've seen that are like, they're more about the wedding than they are about the relationship.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh,
And
really?
The party means nothing. Yeah, the party means nothing. The party is just for a day. You know, when you hear people going, you know, women going, "Oh my God, you know, this wedding dress is so awesome. I
Yep.
paid $10,000 for it, and it's
Mhm.
my day." And they get so obsessed with it. It's like a day is a day. You know, the wedding is just a day. It's just a party.
Oh, how about this guy in
Yeah.
Texas who just spent $59 million on his wedding?
Oh, God.
Would he adopt me? I mean, I would be perfectly happy.
$59 million.
Why do you spend that kind of money on a wedding?
They like rented out an entire town, I think, and decorated the entire thing.
Oh, God, what an
They have
ego.
like a gigantic like castle all decorated. The entire thing was covered in flowers.
Is it the pink flowers?
It's
one?
largely,
Or the-
yeah,
yeah,
mostly
okay, I
pink
saw
flower.
that one, yeah.
That's not even the worst part of the story, though. Within, I think, days of getting married, he decided to start shooting at the cops, and now he's going to prison for 25 years.
Jesus.
Oh, Jesus.
What?
$9 million wedding, and he was married for, what, a week?
What did this guy do to have all that money?
Let's see. I wonder.
What's the guy's name?
I'm guessing, based on how he's crapping it away, I'm guessing he inherited it.
Yeah, probably.
That would be my guess.
Yeah, there's a lot better. He probably should have had a lot of therapy before he spent that money on a wedding.
Oh, it wasn't just any town. It was the palace at Versailles.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Rent out the palace at Versailles?
Yeah,
Wow.
for $59 million, you can, apparently.
Go ahead, Kevin. That's your next move.
Yeah,
I'm going to go to
he
the bank and I'm
definitely-
going to say, I want to rent the Palace of Versailles. What kind of interest rates can you get me?
If he was like, "Hey, Tevin, I want you to, you know, DJ my wedding," I'm overcharging. If you rented out the palace, I'm gonna need at least $1 million. Like, I'm
yeah,
Oh,
you
at
can
least
overpay.
$1 million, a private plane.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're gonna have to overpay for me as well.
Yeah. Absolutely.
God, that's and his.
Throwing a big party's great and all, but when the party's done, you know, you got real life cooking, and it's like there's a lot of people that I think get married too quickly or haven't thought it over enough. You know, you actually have to talk to each other before the wedding. Like, you know, maybe this is what she wants, this is what he wants, and like I said, a lot of people, it's all about the party and not about what comes after. And then they're married, the party's over, and then what comes after is there, and they're like, "Wait, I didn't sign up for this." It's like, yeah, you did.
Don't you think that people that have billions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars, their whole value of themselves is what they're being known for spending their money on? They don't really have relationships.
Definitely.
Because everybody around them wants something from them.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. There's
Well, you
they
don't even
don't have
have to-
any.
you
There's
don't
no
even
way
have-
to really have friends that are real that give a shit about you.
You don't have to even be a billionaire, man. It's like I know quite a few people that are like, oh, you know, they only come to you for money or a favor. I know someone who's part of his family only came to him for money or a favor, and it's like, what you're missing the wonderful parts of this person that, you know, you're using him, you're abusing him just for that, you know, that reason. And then when he finally stood up and said, "Nope, I'm not going to take it anymore," then all of a sudden, you know, you hear people talking that they're like, "Oh, well, I heard so-and-so about this person." It's like, wait a second. He was fine when he was helping you with stuff, but now that he's not, you're going to crap on him. That's horrible.
It is horrible.
All right, we come to the end of the show here. Magnificent job by Wendy calling in and letting us know about things like $59 million weddings. That's good.
That just makes me ill. I got to go eat lunch or something.
Talk to you later.
Go watch Virgin River.
Watch Virgin River. Exactly. All right, talk to you later. Thank you. So, Andy.
Yes, Jude.
Why
Yes.
did the guy start opening fire on the cops? Does it say why?
I don't think they really have the full story yet.
Oh, so this was just a short time ago?
Yeah, the wedding was like 2 weeks ago, I think.
Oh, it's that new?
Oh, and apparently, he was apparently on the lam since he did it in March.
Oh.
And yeah, they got married in November. So he had done this almost a year ago, and he was, I guess, evading the cops.
Oh, so he did it
I don't know
before
if
he
a
got
$59 million wedding is the best way to stay low. Probably
Yeah.
not.
Yeah, if you're trying to hide out, that's not the way to go.
This guy doesn't know how to be on the lam.
Does it say how he made his money? Because he must be.
No,
worth
I've been trying to find it out, but no.
I mean, he must be a billionaire to spend $60 million on a wedding.
I guarantee you, he inherited it from some like rich oil tycoon grandpa or
You have
something.
120 million because it's after taxes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, really.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
All right, that is going to do it, but we'll talk to you tomorrow.
Bye. Okay, I get it. You're...
Get over it.
Reminds me how you talking.